Hey, we are back playing D&D. I think, yeah, we're picking up, it's July the 5th, it is of an evening, a, not emergency, but sort of a surprise assembly was called to occur on this day. As you guys are filtering into the hall, you can see in here all of the combat class students for your year, as well as the logistics and the workshop students for your year as well. There's only first years in here. There's maybe about 40 or so people, including yourselves, all told. Some of these people you recognize, obviously. Most of the logistics students you've seen around but never really had too much to do with. They have their own section of the main building. They have a much more, should we say, ordinary curriculum compared to most of the students here. But they are technically the ones that, when you guys make choices about what train carriages you want to take, what resources you're going to take out, they're the ones that keep track of all of the stuff that you guys are requesting, and on the back end, all the club stuff as well. So you can see that the seating hasn't really been divided out, so to speak, but you can see where, the cliques have, naturally filled in, where there's some crossover between engineering students that work somewhat closely with some of the combat students, are sort of, intermingled into the combat students, and then it's like a gradient where it disperses between combat students to logistics students, and there's sort of little smatterings of personal friendship groups that pull that apart. I don't think you guys have had much reason to come into this big sort of assembly hall. You guys missed the initial sort of start of year speech that the headmistress gave. So this is probably, if not your first time seeing it, it would be your first time actually coming to sit down in here. It's not an overly interesting space. It's big. There's a stage. You can see where there's a backstage area that's separated off by some curtains. At present, there are no teachers or anyone else like that in here, and no sign of the headmistress as of yet. And there's sort of that murmur of students talking amongst each other, some people stopping when you guys walk in and then just kind of getting back on with what they were saying as they realize that it's not the headmistress walking in through the back or anything like that. Atira, as you walk in, you see Andrus raise a hand kind of near the frontish with some spaces next to him that have been saved for you guys. He sort of just waves at you all.
I will take a few steps and then gesture to the rest of the team to follow, making this executive decision for them.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine that Clara would argue against being up front and getting every word.
I don't think she'd like it, but I don't think she'd complain about it.
There are other spaces available if you guys are very particular about who you might want to try and sit next to, or whereabouts in the hall you would like to sit. You certainly can. Obviously, Andrus was mostly interested in having a Tira sit next to him, but saved some extra seats because that would be polite. You can sort of see that on his face. It's he's mostly interested in the Tira.
Is space next to Nile free?
Yes, yeah. So on the other side of that, still at the front, but yes.
Okay. I haven't spoken to him in ages. Our last exchange was me engraving a rune into a crystal for him. So I was curious on how he was doing.
Okay, yeah. You come and sit over there. You've got Chiruru on one side of you, Nile on the other, and then this empty seat that you're sitting in, Dayfar. Atira, as you're kind of sitting down in your seat, Andrus leans into you and says, I forgot to ask, you don't happen to know what this assembly's about, do you?
I remember Axel said something about it, but details slip my mind right now.
He didn't really give details. He just flops down in an empty seat somewhere.
I think there's something about a guest speaker.
Andrus kind of like makes a small face as he thinks about it, and then sits back in his seat and says, just wondered whether you had any special information. Dafer, as you sit down, Niall looks up at you and says, hi, long time no speak. That crystal that you engraved for me really came in handy.
Oh? Glad to hear it. If you have any further ideas for experimenting, I'm all ears.
I have a few things I've been thinking of, but did I see you stitching runes into material in the workshop in the library at some point? This, it might have been last month, actually. It's been a while.
Yeah, I learned a little bit of rune stitching for a friend of mine.
That's nice. I have some ideas for my, and he kind of like moves a hand over, the outfit they're wearing is a little different to their usual clothing. They tend to like switch between something that's more, of the style of the day and kimonos when they're doing their tea ceremony stuff, and the clothing sort of like merged a little bit. It's got some of the like, it's kind of similar to what Caliban wears to important events. There's that sort of like kimono suit thing going on, but this is obviously in terms of expense like nowhere near as like cashmere shimmer thing going on. It's just like a little bit more, should we say, down to earth. But he says, I was thinking about adding some runes into this that might assist in casting quickly. I'm trying to find a book with some of the correct symbols I need, but it seems like there's some difficulty around the fabric. Yeah.
Question. I think I, as Dafer, wouldn't be too interested in like deepening my expertise in rune stitching. However, I can see a very valuable opportunity for Fiona here if you, but that would require her getting some kind of like chance to even test out whether her experimentation with that would work, and if she's even up for it. Would Dafer thinking in that direction of like, okay, like I can now provide an opportunity for like the, in quotation marks, the community. Would that even make sense given how young Fiona is? Like her motivation might not work out for this in the first place, and she might not have the necessary material for it.
Give me an insight check, Dafer. Yeah.
Okay. Insight 8.
I think your concerns are well-founded. She is very young. However, she is developing a skill. The idea of there being some sort of program to encourage that is a sound one. You don't think it probably applies directly to what Niall's talking about here, but it is something to like... you think there's probably something to it, Dafer, but maybe not in this exact situation.
In that case, would maybe some kind of scenario where I specifically do whatever work I would do on Niall's robe near Fiona, so we can, like, in a sense, work together and encourage her that way.
Yeah. You could definitely try and find a way to integrate what you want to do and work it through with Fiona as like a project that you could do together when you visit the church.
In that case, I might be able to think of something. I mean, I have a couple runes already in mind if how I would do this on metal. I'm pretty sure that the one for making this work on fabric, I'd need to try it out. I'd try it out with, would you like this project to be secret of some kind, or would it be okay if I consult with the friend that I would be learning, that I have been learning rune stitching in the the first place for.
Niall sort of just shrugs and says, I've got no problem with it. As long as it gets done and we can test it out. That's my main concern. As the two of you are talking, has anyone else got anyone that they want to ask a question to? Because you start to, like, hear the movement behind the curtain. It seems like someone is ready to come out soon. Is there anything someone wants to squeeze in before then? Okay. After a couple more moments, the crystal lights in the space sort of like dim just a little bit, which gets everyone's attention back towards the front. The headmistress Shu, steps out, wearing something a little different from her usual outfit. It's like a more tighter, tailored business suit, but the colors are blue with like gold trim to it, and you can see that she has the symbol of the academy, which is a circle divided into like 4 segments on the buttons of this suit that she steps out in. She looks out at the sort of audience before her and takes a moment and says, as some of you may be aware, a second-year student and president of the cooking club is currently being treated in a hospital within the city and is alive and stable, but shows no sign of waking up anytime soon. The second-year students, your upperclassmen, have long been in much smaller classes than are standard for year groups due to the dangers that you all face every time you head out on your training missions. I have determined that it would be unconscionable to leave Seth alone in a class all by himself. As such, Class 5 will be disbanded, and Seth will join Tamara and Noctis in Class 4. Should the best happen and Delphin awaken, he will also join them in Class 4. Now, I imagine that some of you are wondering why I would call an assembly for only first years, in order to just tell you this information that perhaps the entire school should know and perhaps could simply be a message. It is because I believe that this has the grounds to affect you most of all. There are certain rules and regulations around East Academy calling itself an academy. One of those is the number of graduating classes each year. While our third-year students still have their 3 classes, by next year, we could lose our academy licenses to certain resources such as Crysthalm and otherwise that are given only to institutions with this academy title. It is for this reason I have decided to give you all as first years the opportunity, the possibility to move forward 1 year. While only 1 class would be required to fulfill the obligations we have, picking any 1 class would be an odd move, I believe. And beyond that, given what your instructors and what I have seen in the reports you've been back, I believe that you all have the potential to make this jump. However, Beyond this, I must put this to the test. It is for that reason I have determined that at the end of this month, a special away mission shall be conducted. The first of its kind, a joint first-year mission, organized, ran, and executed by all of the students here in this room. I do not wish to force anything on anyone. Should you pass this test, you still will have the opportunity to say no and remain a first year. I will be honest and say I am uncomfortable taking time away from your education. However, I am confident in your abilities. I am sure you all have a great many questions, which is why I have cancelled all of my meetings for the next 24 hours. My door is open to any student who wishes to come and ask me questions. Thank you for your attention on this matter. She takes a very deep bow. As she stands back up, she sees your hand, Dafer, and says, Dafer, you have a question you wish to share with the rest of the group here?
Ma'am, I believe this would be pertinent information for anyone here. I assume this is only an opportunity for one of the classes to move up. Would this assumption be correct?
No. I am proposing that the entirety of the first year move to the second year. That will mean for 6 months we will not have first year classes. However, that will give us time to finish up the renovations to the various dormitories, allowing a larger first year to be enrolled when time comes.
I think that Dafer would actually be visibly shocked because, and he would actually also very much try to figure out like what the headmistress is feeling about this, because that does not sound like the kind of thing she would be happy about whatsoever.
Yeah, give me an insight check, Dafer. And a 19. Unhappy would be the wrong word, Dafer. Uncomfortable, yes. Backed into a corner a little bit, you would say, Dafer. Mm-hmm. However, you don't... Nothing she said to you has been, for all intents and purposes, a lie, if you get what I'm saying. Like, she does believe this year has the capability of moving forward. She would prefer that wasn't the case, you think, is what you're getting, Dafer, but at the same time. With that, she'll say, I'll leave any further inquiries to our private questions. I wish you all a pleasant evening. And then she'll turn and head back behind the curtains, leaving murmuring students to grow in pitch as logistics and workshop students seem to be included in that as well. So there's a lot of discussion between them as to what that really means for them in their education moving forward as well.
Where is Axel in this mess, out of curiosity?
Give me a perception check, Uther.
Perception. That is the wrong one.
But a natural 20 is a natural 20 nonetheless.
Yeah, but shave 4 off.
So 24 total. Looking around, you see no staff in this space whatsoever, other than the headmistress who's now leaving through the curtains. However, the sort of like assembly hall, one side of it has these tall windows. You can see out on campus as second and third year students are milling about, pretending to be going about a business, but definitely looking in through the windows at this weird impromptu assembly. You do see Axel out there at present in conversation with Elias Brayond, who's here to pick up the metals this evening. So that's where you see him outside, currently talking to the last great generalist.
I will make an offhanded mention that to someone in our group that Elias is here also. I'm going to walk in the direction of the window and kind of just use my clone to just be outside.
You walk the clone through the solid material and then swap places into the outside. I guess you're just approaching Axel directly.
Yeah, fast walking towards Axel.
Okay. You get close enough to draw his attention up, which interrupts the conversation, which makes Elias suddenly stop and turn his head with his ear sort of tuning for what's approaching. Axel looks at you and says, "Who's there? Assembly's over."
Is she being blackmailed, dude? Is there something we need to do here? Because this idea is going to get someone killed. Potentially several someones.
Axel thinks for a moment and says, blackmail is a strong term. Pressured, yes. That said, not everyone will pass the test. I expect your class will, and I have some hope for one or two of the others, maybe. But if people don't move forward, that is fine. They'll stay in the first year. I understand your concerns.
We have the odd class out, and we're doing good to come back from some of these operations we're taking on. And I'm not trying to say that to make us out to be greater than we are, but we are the weirdly invested class. I'm trying not to make the accusations I've made before, but boy, every time we go out,
what your
sure is something.
Class has proven is that those with ability, when exposed to pressure, grow quickly. All we're going to find out is that if there are other classes with the similar self-same ability, and if not, they will remain where they are.
I just hope you get more diamonds than you do cracked foundations.
Me too, Uther. Elias, directs their attention towards you, Uther, and says, your heart towards your other students, it is warming to see.
There's been a lot of close calls with some of the classes, and some of those close calls have been a razor, let's say.
Elias nods and says, at the end of the day, it will be the choice of each and every individual to take that risk themselves, or to not.
I did let the others know that Elias was here, by the way. I assumed that was what you were hoping would happen.
I think at this point, anyone heading out of the assembly, the doors basically open up into this courtyard area anyway, where Elias, Uther, and Axel are. So you pretty much walk out straight into that line of sight.
Should I go get the material now, or do we want to wait for that, since I'm out here?
Elias says, you will escort me back to my apartment with the material for us to examine it? Does that seem... Axel nods and says, I entrust my students to you. I have after-school activities I need to take care of for the headmistress. Elias nods and says, I can be the responsible adult in the room for a while.
So true. Given that Niall already made a request, do you also have anything that you want/need runically enhanced? Or, I mean, if I'm already doing one project.
Who was that directed at, David?
Tiruru, since I assume I'm talking with both Niall and Tiruru like in a group. Since I said between them.
True looks at you and says, rude stuff? No, probably not. I'll be fine.
Alright.
She does
Getting you that those rune enhancements became a lot more urgent than I thought it would.
Adhira is going to turn towards Andres and just say, I'll be out by the garden later if you want to sit and talk or just hang out.
Sure, just throw a rock at my window when you're back.
I'll find a small enough rock.
Just don't throw
Sidebar, we're enhanced humans now. We don't know our own strength at sometimes. It's gonna be shattered.
Very careful.
Throw a metaphorical rock at my window, Adhira, and I'll come out.
Okay, martial die is D6. Charisma.
Throws a rock, gunshot sound as you just like flick it.
She's going to walk outside, spying Elias, eyes lighting up. And she's gonna go over. Hi. Oh, it's been so long since I've seen you. I've been reading a bunch of your books.
Oh, so you're the one who's reading them. That's nice.
A bunch of people are reading them.
Just a little joke.
Over my head. Quick insight check. Does this seem like a guy? I know he's blind, but is he seem capable of, writing his own name if given a pen?
Oh, like signing a signature? Yeah, he can sign his name.
Dictate?
He can sign his name.
Okay. Adhira is going to fish out to be stolen first edition of that book we got in the airship. And I'm going to hand it to him and a pin and ask him for his signature.
He runs his thumb over the outside of this book and says, what's the title of the book? You're not getting me to sign away my apartment to you, are you?
No, of course not. What was the title?
I can't remember off the top of my head, sorry, but obviously you can tell him if you would like, or you can lie. It's up to you.
I'll tell him. I want to measure his reaction.
You see him think for a moment or two, and then scrawl his name on the inside page, and then hand that back to you and say, best you keep it in your room. Don't want everyone getting jealous.
What room?
Want me to send it to the government
True.
when I'm done?
I think it best you not.
Okay. Pillars of Stairs to Heaven, that was it.
Yeah. Is everyone going to Elias's? I know a few of you have different questions. I don't know if everyone would like to go or whether some people would like to stay and ask questions of the headmistress instead. It's up to you guys where you want to go.
I don't think Dafer necessarily has quite. I think Dafer is needed as muscle to carry the shit. As that's like with Uther's stuff on top. It was 20 plus whatever the Uther has, which is like 30 or 40 pounds of metal.
Elias
I
has
had half, you had-
Elias has a vehicle waiting for him. So, like, if you wanted to load it into the vehicle from there, it would be fine.
Yeah.
So it's up to you
Almost
from
the
there.
idea. think, since I think he is the most knowledgeable person on rune stitching that I know of, right?
I mean, it's not a common field, and he has a good understanding of most things. So, like, by an awkward process of elimination, yes.
Well, because I remember trying to figure out rune stitching the first time that I had to do for Fiona, and remembering I didn't find anyone. So yeah, I would actually get back to Elias to see if I can talk to him a little bit about rune stitching.
Okay.
And yeah. In general, techniques, stuff for teaching it better to someone, as well as how to efficiently experiment with it.
Mm-hmm. So Dayfra, you're going with Elias. Anyone else? Uther, yeah.
I'll go for a little bit.
Itira.
I think if nobody is specifically like mentioning it, I wouldn't go because I do have some questions.
Okay, so Clara going to headmistress.
I was going to say about pestering the headmistress after we get back.
You guys might get back quite late. It depends, obviously. Caliban, would you like to stay or go with the group to Elias's?
I mean, I'll go, but I don't have much to say.
Yeah, that's fine. Dayfra,
Royal emotional support.
Dayfra and Uther, you're taken out to it's it's not an incredibly fancy Crystal vehicle, and yet by the fact that there is a Crystal vehicle, it's already kind of fancy. Like, it's essentially like a car here in the city.
It's the equivalent of saying, "Oh yeah, it's just a Model T in an era that's just now getting."
Yeah, it's like a lot of the world is horse and cart driven, and this person has a magical car. Like, the back section, it's kind of designed like a limo, but it's much squatter than that. So there's like 2 rows of seats that face each other in the back, but it doesn't like extend on forever, basically. He also has a driver, a woman who appears to be in her like late 20s, very serious look about her. She has some pretty obvious scars from conflict or combat. Somewhat of a like bodyguard driver sort of mix of work. However, she seems completely focused on what she's doing. She doesn't seem to interact, not even with Elias too much. As you guys filter into the vehicle with this strange material in the trunk, the car eventually takes off, heading to a district that you guys have been to quite a bit recently, the Sage District in particular. The high-rise building that you guys eventually pull up to, Caliban, it reminds you of your uncle's sort of like very tall building with these apartments at the top. You guys take this Crystal elevator all the way to sort of not quite the top of the top, but you can tell this is like the big penthouse areas. Elias eventually walks up to his front door, brings out a little Crystal card that he like beeps up against a little scanner, and the door opens out into this. It's an entirely open plan apartment. It's sort of like 1/4 of the top of the building, so it's got this big right angle, absolutely huge floor to ceiling windows that look out over the city. He takes his cane and he slots it into this track that's built into the floor, and then as he moves it, like he's able to walk to different sections of his apartment by following this little like indentation that his cane fits into perfectly. You can see that there are display cases of relics in here. There's like a kitchen right in the middle of everything with this L-shaped kitchen area. The entire right side of the apartment is just bookshelves. You can see there is a typewriter with like leaves of paper and a bin full of scrumpled up papers of like pieces that he's decided that they weren't written well enough. You can't see a bed or like a toilet in here, but there is one section of the apartment that does have walls and doors, which you assume to be like where he sleeps and where the bathroom is. There is also a big like balcony that goes along like one corner of the building as well. As he walks in, he says, feel free to make yourself at home. Those of you with the material, please follow me. And he walks along one of these tracks towards a series of work tables with glass cases that he starts lifting up for you guys to put the material into these like sealed glass like boxes, basically.
I follow him and put the stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is this your apartment for safe storage of things, or do you wish to investigate this?
Oh, well, this apartment does a little bit of everything. A little bit of investigation, a little bit of storage. I thought it best that we look at it privately before we hand it off to anyone else, so that we've got a good idea of who it's best to give to.
Makes sense to me.
After the last time someone got a hold of this stuff in our presence, I'm half tempted to say nobody at this point. We left it unattended for less than an hour, and someone got the bright idea to start just eating the shit.
Sir, I assume you've read our report on this?
I have read a report, and I've talked to Axel about the occurrences. He gestures kind of over at where he can like hear Caliban's footfalls and says, I understand that they had a particular interest in the young lord here.
You can say that again. It was not your sunny mood they were after, Caliban.
Pardon?
It was not your sunny mood they were after, Caliban.
What a shame. They would have loved that too.
With
Well, at least not left him with any kind of mental scarring.
a sense of humor is vital to survive in any day and age, I believe. He slides this like lock on the glass cases closed, takes a few crystals out, and then sets them into these slots that you can see begin casting like identify, detect magic, and then instead of like that information being sort of received by you, it goes into a crystal pad on one side and starts like putting out all the information and a general readout with like a braille section on one side that he starts running his thumb over idly while continuing to talk to you guys. And he says, it will take a little while for all of this to be processed. If you wish to look around at any of the knickknacks I've gathered in my years, you certainly can, or if you have any questions for me. The books are mostly for show, but if one of them takes your fancy, you're certainly welcome to it as well.
I believe I'll take you up on your offer to chat with you. I have some topics that I am sorely lacking anyone with qualifications to talk to about.
In absence of expertise, I will do my best to fill in the gaps.
I myself do mostly rune crafting, or on metallic surfaces. I specialize on those, metal and stone to some degree. For a you could say protege of mine. To a degree, I've started looking into rune stitching, as that is far easier to get material for and do in everyday life and sense. I have both wondered how to best teach her to dive deeper into things, as well as am really very quickly reaching the limits of my own understanding of that particular craft. There are some twists in how the runes apply to the fabric and how to keep them stable that just make no sense to me.
He'll say to you, there is a limit of an evening as to what I can pass along in terms of knowledge of runecraft. Simply speaking, it is difficult to teach a language in a single sitting. However, in terms of books, I believe in that case there are a couple that might be of interest to you that you could take away. I can certainly speak to the meaning of symbols, but I have no gift with the motion of my hand as to teach you how best to move and weave the material. Best to be upfront about my limitations. I have shall we say, a library of runes within my mind that I might access. Beyond that, in the middle of the bookshelf, there is a column of books on runes and different materials. Among them, you should find some about fabrics in particular.
Okay. As for... I will go there in a second. If you know of specific rune combinations that can work on fabric, say on a somewhat thicker kimono-style robe, what runic combinations could you think of that would allow the user to access crystal magic quicker casting?
He would talk to you for a while, Dayfer, about a concept that is like creating a layer of stitched runes, so it's like stacked on top of each other in very short order, one put on top of another, and then you can turn that into like a patch. Because the idea of quickening something can be like very widely misinterpreted, it's best to like be as specific as possible in as small a location as possible, which makes it a harder feat of actual handiwork than it is of conceptual thought as to like how to make something faster. So he would talk to you a bit about that, and also gesture towards the bookshelf where you might peruse. I don't know if anyone else in the room had other questions for him as well, be it Adhira or Uther or Caliban.
Adhira is more impressed with just, can't think of the right word, but the luxury of the apartment. Like, this is a nice place.
Yes.
So I think she's browsing through the relics and the bookcases, just sort of appraising them.
Give me an investigation check, Itir. On a 14, there are a couple of objects that really catch your attention. There are some relics here that, like, for want of a better term, like, it kind of goes over your head a little bit. You're looking at them and you're like, it seems to be a shard of, like, some sort of, like, pottery or something like that. And there's no description around it, right? There's no, like, plaque or anything to read off of. But you do see a couple of things to catch your attention. One, there is a sort of, like, dimmer slider on one of the glass cases, and when you slide it over, the solar staff that you guys got is in there. It seems to have been embedded into this like crystal base, and you can see that magical energy is being transferred into the staff, and actually as you like slide the dimmer switch over, it gets horrendously bright. You have to like pull it back. You think that if you slid it all the way over, it would just like illuminate this space to a ridiculous degree. Obviously Elias has no clue, but the rest of your companions can see this like almost like miniature sun like sort of like begin to glow. The other thing that catches your attention, Atira, is a golden ankh in one of these cases that's like sat on a pillow, sort of like leaning at a 45-degree. It's as big as maybe like your arm, so like it's huge. It's like solid gold, and the bottom portion, the wide section of the bottom, is like the size of your forearm, and then the rest of it sort of like blossoms out kind of like the size of your hand. So it's like big golden ankh in one of these cases.
Do I recognize that at all?
Give me a either a religion or a history check, Atira.
No.
Natural one. You know ankhs have something to do with the Guardians. As far as you're aware, there's some significant meaning between ankhs and the Guardian. But thinking about it, you've never seen this symbol on one of the Guardians, so you're not sure what the relation is.
She'll pass on and then sort of just start browsing through the books.
Uther, anything you want to ask? Or look at?
Quick legal hypothetical.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of a knight, who takes judicial responsibility? Like, would a knight's home, or would the kingdom proper take, like whose law counts more on a knight?
As in, like, because you're from Dulukop, but you're trained as an Empress knight, whose laws are you more beholden to? I think that this is a very common cause of tension between locations where Empress knights have come from. In some sense, you guys don't swear an oath of loyalty. You're not knights in the sense of like you're some vassal nobility or anything like that. It's a holdover term, really, right, Uther? That said,
well, I understood that, but like, it still leads the question in my mind of like,
so ostensibly speaking, while you're within the city of Empress, you are expected to obey by the legal precedent of the city. Outside of it, you have much more flexibility as to what the expectations are of you from the judges themselves.
out of character, that doesn't help me.
Why? What are you trying to work through?
Last session, you gave me a vial of some very highly don't mention I own this.
And you're
and
wondering...
I was trying to figure out if I mention it to someone within the city, if I have less of an expectation of 2 gunshots to the back of the head or not.
So, technically speaking, it is more illegal for you to own what you own in your home city than it is here, Uther. There's like a big distinct, obviously, religious belief around dragons where you're from. Here, dragons are seen with much more of a scientific curiosity. I think you're like, how do I put it? You're more likely to be able.
But
yeah.
It's more bad there.
Yes, that's it. You got it.
Okay, that's more or less what I was fishing for. I was just wondering if a situation where it did get out, can I leverage the knight status to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. You also know that Elias is obviously aware of the grand plan of your head mistress and seems to be on side for it. So if there was anything illegal or problematic you wanted to discuss with someone higher up, Elias and the Judge Lehrman are two people that you could go to, Uther. So he's as good a person as, like, Axel in a sense, right? He's as entwined in all of this.
Yeah. I'm not going to reveal the full reveal to him at this time. Like I said, that was just like my legal hypothetical I wanted to ponder.
Understood.
I will ask what he knows of that particular legend.
Of the legend of the metallic dragon versus the storm dragon.
Yeah.
He thinks, says, I obviously know the story itself around the conflict over the peak of your mountain home. I know of the triumph of the storm dragon, the loss of the metallic dragon, how its bones still act as protection, that in its defeat it offered protection to you all against the storm. And I know that there is belief that the storm is caused by a slumbering dragon beneath the mountain. I know that there's no real proof. I have a couple of poem books about it, but I can't say they're any more illuminating than listening to the tales firsthand, as it were. Why'd you ask me, Uther?
Let's say hypothetically, I've seen a map that doesn't match current maps. Some things are shuffled around and misplaced. There's space missing, so to speak, I guess.
He nods and says, I have read about images that are approximate to the truth, and in doing so, gain some ability to mimic the reality that it represents. Shifting something slightly off of this axis untethers it from that. There is, if you have a map that is very exact to the place that you are examining, that map can be affected by that link. By shifting it slightly, it breaks that link somewhat, which can have some useful effects. But, I mean, unfortunately, without knowing any specifics, I can't say what reason someone would have to want to break away from it in particular.
It was just odd, and we know the rumors. We've all heard the rumors. It's a funny, haha story. I don't know. It's odd.
Thinks for a moment, says, it is certainly odd to keep a map that is, by most minds, not of use. That said, as long as that use is known by one mind, then it still does have some merit. It depends.
The problem is I can't just ask what the purpose of the map is. Anyone that would know is no longer with us.
It sounds as if you've been left a puzzle, Uther. By that reasoning, perhaps the use of the oddity of the map is in the test of figuring it out itself.
have like 4 other puzzles to work on. Can I get a refund?
I think puzzles are the variety and the spice of life that we all need, in whatever form your puzzle comes, of course. Not everything needs to be jigsaws. He also grabs hold of the report document he had of your mission while you were away. It says, I'm quite interested in this rebirth of this striker fellow. What, if anything, stood out to you all? I know that might be a vague question, but I'm interested in your account more than your experience, more than the facts of the matter.
He was
And
playing
here
with
is
us.
Sure.
That thing had full auto. He just took pot shots at us. He was playing with
I
us.
don't know if I would call those pot shots.
I'm not sure. I mean,
Atira, who was shot. It hurt.
A pot shot does not mean it doesn't hurt. A
Yes,
pot shot
yeah,
just
yeah.
means he did not mag dump us.
I don't know his. I don't know what he was like before. I have no information about what his capabilities were before he died, or supposedly died. But absolute and utter destruction and destructive capability is what stands out to me the most. Incredible accuracy and an ability to demolish a forest within seconds by mere ability of just shooting as many bullets as he needs to just punch through trees like they are nothing.
Adhira is going to pull away from the Ankh and ask, did you know Stryker personally?
You could say that we had met and we'd had conversations. I wouldn't call us personal acquaintances, people that kept in contact with one another, but I also couldn't quite count how many times we had talked. So I would say yes, we had known each other personally.
Does it sound like him to take out a group of people that are completely unrelated to his target?
No, it doesn't. But the striker I knew was someone who would and really did willingly give his life to ensure as many people were protected as possible. To me, it feels like an inversion, but that drive to protect as many people as possible is something that at first can be noble, but can be driven to take extreme lengths when they believe that there is some great threat that they need to protect people from. So, I would say no, it doesn't line up with the man I knew, but I can see the path one would walk to get there.
I saw him take out a camp of poachers in the middle of the night. Just absolutely laid waste of him.
And what of the fact that he is seemingly back from the dead? Would you say that you felt as if you were dealing with a reanimated corpse? Would you...
I thought so at first, but Andres provided a different look at it. He was surrounded by constellations, and while that's a sign of divine power, it might not have been necromancy. His death wasn't confirmed in the records, and he might have very well just been saved because he's connected to a major prophecy. And this was him acting on it.
You see Elias ponder for a second. He says, Major prophecies around near survival. And indeed, if it was some sort of resurrection, such a prophecy would be rare indeed. It shouldn't be too hard for me to go digging and find if there is anything linked to those concepts. That is a decent enough place to start an investigation.
I hear of things. Do you have a sending crystal on you?
He thinks for a moment and then points towards there's like a sort of like a metallic filing cabinet. He says, there's a key, sort of attached to the back of the cabinet. Second drawer down, I believe.
I'll go over and mess around with it.
Finding the key, unlocking it, sliding it open. There's like pods where you can slot crystals into, and you can see an array of like 6 sending crystals that are on one side of this drawer labeled.
She'll fish one out, sort of feel the weight in her hand, and then looking back at her friends for a bit, she's gonna send Stryker.
Yep. What 25 words do you want to shoot off?
Hello, courtesy of the girl you shot in the back. Can I ask what your deal is? They're curious if you're aiming for me or someone else. I say it out loud, by the way.
There's a short pause. The message you get back, Adhira, is, I have been informed by my commander to apologize for the manner of our first meeting. That said, should we cross path again, run quicker.
She thinks about this and then turns towards the others. He's been told to apologize by his commander and says that if we meet him again, we must run faster. Cross paths is the term he used.
Elias says it doesn't sound like he was there for you, so to speak.
Yeah, but he didn't have to chase us across the countryside then.
Some fundamental misunderstanding on his part, since he was asked to apologize. It seems that there is someone above him. That's interesting information, nonetheless.
There was talk of paladin activity in the region.
I have a feeling that, yes, indeed, a member of this new group, the Paladins. I wonder if there is... I know from the message they put out, it seems like they are former EKs. I wonder if they are all similar to Stryker in that they have these prophecies and maybe death or near-death experiences. But it would be hard to say without further evidence of a first-hand encounter with another one. Unfortunately, survivors of such situations are in short supply.
All I know is I don't want to have to deal with this. We're not prepared. We don't have the firepower. We don't have the defensive power. It's the kind of situation I want far away from.
Well, the first step of being prepared is being not prepared, so you're already beginning well.
One way of looking at it. Prepare a friend of mine with this runic array that you informed me of. Actually, I'd like to take a look for one of the
Give
one
me
of the books that you recommended me.
give me an investigation check, Tafer.
Okay. 21.
The bottom section of the shelf is reserved for these, like, big tome-style books. Pulling it out, you find a tome that has, like, like the old sword fighting manuals where you can see that, like, they've drawn the positions the swords are in and, like, the stances and the footwork. There's actual illustrations of the motion of the hand tied to some of these rune stitches, and you find one book particularly on this stacking principle and how to create this cube of fabric that then can be inserted into any piece of clothing, basically. So you, like, stitch the cube separate and then attach it to the clothing, which avoids any problems with, like, if the clothing has a different, like, if one is silk or one is cloth or whatever, these cubes are independent and can just be attached to things. And some of them, like, you can see some of the illustrations, it looks like if you're really, really good at them, you can get them to, like, a centimeter a side big, right? Like, really compacted down rune work. This seems to be one of the best resources on rune stitching, and specifically this as well, that you've come across so far.
Okay. I'd note the title, or I'd ask Elias if I can borrow this book, and if not, I just note mark the title and to lend it, to get it from elsewhere.
It's yours. If I have a hole in my shelf, I'll just fill it with more books.
Thank you.
There's no shortage of knowledge, and having read it, technically speaking, it's just there to show off, so...
Why not? Well, I'll have something to look at.
This material you've brought me seems to be, in its purest form, change. It is as close to a sort of true transfiguration as I have ever seen. If one might call Crysthalm a miracle of flexibility, this material is somehow both completely inflexible and designed to change at the same time. It is somewhat of a confusing paradox, which I must say that I guess the Scourge kind of is. I can see a great many uses for it, but in terms of its reliability, that seems much more difficult. I think that this material would best be suited locked away until I can properly ascertain some way of ensuring results. And beyond that, it seems that when, from what you've stated about what happens when it interacts with an individual, the change tends towards some sort of mania. Now, this could be a result of the individual who first utilized it. It could be that someone of a cheery disposition may be changed towards a greater cheeriness. It's hard to say without experimentation, but I don't think anyone here thinks we should go finding people of different spirits and feeding them this, as you put it, Uther.
A rather unhappy individual did opt to try to jump off a roof rather than face dealing with the long-term effects of this. So
it could well be that there is this alteration through multiplication, shall we say, is what I would... That's my initial hypothesis, but it is difficult for me to test. I think what I might look into are perhaps some runes to do with dampening the effect, and some further analysis as to whether there is some residual essence of the scourge within here, some innate design towards the unmaking of things created by the goddess. If that exists, then on a fundamental level, this material is purely dangerous to us and our kind. I assume none of you have a problem with me having this locked away for cautious study.
Please do go ahead.
Very well.
It means we don't have to keep it hidden in Art Locker.
Meanwhile, back on campus, Clara, were you heading straight to the headmistress's office, or did you want to, like, look for something first? Is there anything else on your mind?
Right there is fine.
Okay. Heading straight to the office, you see a few other people from the first year sort of hang around. You pass by Mistle, who is, like, sat with a piece of paper. She seems to be writing out her thoughts and then scratching them off. She'll give you a sort of, like, a look and a nod as you're passing by. You also see Andrus in conversation with Niall sort of around the corner from the office. The two of them seem to be discussing the judges around such a pressure that might be involved and so on and so forth. They seem more interested in trying to, like, work out between them what they think's going on politically, whereas Mistle seems to be trying to get her head in order, is what you sort of see, Clara. I don't know if you want to stop and talk to any of them.
I'll let the boys continue their discussion, but I will go and see Mistle.
Yeah, she crosses up something and looks up at you and says, "Hey, Clara, come to ask a question."
Looks like you've come to ask more than just one.
Yes, I mean, our class is missing someone. I don't know. I feel like a lack of time is just risking more of that. But at the same time, I want to believe that we're capable. So I guess I'm sort of two sides of me at conflict at present. What about you?
I have quite a few myself, actually.
She nods. She's an inspiring woman, but I find it difficult to follow everything that she says or does. I can't help but feel that I'm at the edge of some great game that's being played, and I understand that the judges are nipping at the heels of this institution. I don't know. It feels like there's something more, and I can't put a finger on it.
Between you and I think it would need to be much more public knowledge for people to put a finger on it. To put this in terms we might more understand, at the moment, and every time we go out on a mission, I feel more and more like I'm the pawn on a chessboard, and I'm kind of fed up of feeling that way.
She nods. It's hard to say whether knowing would make me feel better or worse, but not knowing certainly makes me feel a little lost.
It makes every decision uninformed. That's what I don't like about it.
I can appreciate that. That said, the idea of a first year exercise of working together on this, whatever the mission may be, does excite me. The idea that we might all be collaborating together on this.
I will admit I definitely don't hate that, but I do find it a little bit of a shame that it's taken whatever is happening for that to be a consideration.
She looks down at her piece of paper and says, I think I'm going to be a little longer. If you've got your thoughts laid out, you go ahead. Don't let me keep you here.
Thanks. If I happen to stumble across any of the answers to your questions, I'll bring them back on the way out.
If that saves me an awkward conversation in which I have to question my superiors, then I'll take it.
I'm not making any guarantees, but I've been questioning everything since the moment I got here, and, well, I haven't been shouted at for it yet. This might be the changing moment, though.
I will concede that your ability to see into the motives of others surpasses my own. A little bit.
Thanks. I'll take the compliments where I can get them.
She smiles.
Right. I best cause trouble now rather than cause trouble later.
You can see the door is like, as you approach it, Clara, it's like partially open, the light's on in there. You can hear the sound of like pen to paper, probably in the middle of some sort of paperwork, you would think, Clara, but the door's been left ajar as a clear sign that you can interrupt whenever you want.
I will knock first, because I might be about to be a menace, but I am at least polite.
You hear, come in. Close the door behind you.
I shall do as I am told.
You close the door, and you feel the quiet click of a crystal circuit completing, and all of a sudden there's no sound of murmur from beyond the office. You are insulated in here with the headmistress. She looks and says, I wondered who would be first. Come in, sit down, Claire.
I really made it before anyone else.
A few approached the door, but some of them turned and walked away. I imagine they are weighing up the risk of upsetting me. I try to give off as a friendly air as possible, but perhaps I am failing in some measure there.
I don't think it's you, I think it's authority in general.
She nods. There are certain traps that have come with my position that I was not familiar with the existence of. What's on your mind, Clara? A lot, I know, but let's start at the top.
I'll start with what I know everyone will be asking about.
Certainly.
The proposal to move classes forward. I don't disagree, and I think there are plenty among us, and I'm not just speaking for myself and my class here, who could handle being at a higher level, and I understand that people will not always pass the tests, and therefore it's a good metric to make sure people who are ready manage to go through. But I can't help but wonder why you're making this decision now. Surely this is something that you would have known about from beforehand. The size of your classes, potential intake, pressures from outside. Has something else happened to tip the scales?
In part, it is the responsibility of the events that has occurred to you in your class. The reports that I must pass on to the judges contain certain details of your accomplishments that, as first years, will begin to draw attention, that as second years will not as much. That's a large proponent. I would like to avoid the extra scrutiny on your group in particular, as well as the further scrutiny that would bring the academy. Beyond that, as much as I was aware of these pressures, it's very limited in what I could do about them. Obviously, what happened to Delphin was a very unfortunate accident. And one that I knew could happen at any time to any of the classes. There was not much I could do in advance of the situation, however. I could have put you all through as year 2s to begin with, but let's be honest, that would have been somehow stranger than what's happened now, I believe.
While we're on the topic, I didn't come in with this as a question. What did happen to Delphin? I've heard lots of tiny bits and pieces about it, but no one seems to actually want to talk about it.
While excavating a structure in the wastes that was used as sort of a refugee waypoint for people fleeing the miasmic during the very early stages of its spreading throughout Zemes, there was a area that had been converted into living space where a series of artifacts, in a very loose sense of the term artifact, we're talking in a more archaeological sense than a magical sense. Delphin was offering security to a group and had become interested in the process of extracting and cataloging different things. There was a doll, something that should not have survived that long out there, and indeed upon contact with Delphin did seem to disintegrate into nothing, at which point there was a large surge of pressure. People reported the feeling of like a static behind the teeth, usually related to quite high order curses going off. Since then, Delphin has remained in his, from what I'm receiving from the hospital, a form of stasis.
I see. That finally gets me at least one answer I was chasing.
We have a series of resources through Lemon, researchers into curses. They will be looking into Delphin, and I have every faith that eventually Delphin will return. But I don't know how long it will take, and in the meantime, I must prepare for the future of the Academy.
No, I understand. The future of the Academy is, I suppose, the subject of my other question. You've already answered this in some part, I suppose, by making reference to what happened to my class and I. I know in the past I have somewhat danced around the fact that I cannot escape the feeling that we were put together for a reason. And no matter how much no one wants to say it, for better or worse, one of my talents is reading the room. Everywhere we go, it seems like each one mission is actually 4 separate missions. One that we actually get told we're supposed to do, and then 3 other shadow things that no one's supposed to talk about. I understand that some things must be kept secret, and that you can't just tell me everything, but what we saw when we were out there, what I saw, what we almost died to, we're caught between a lot of different things. There's the Paladins and the Glowmide and now Striker and the Judges. I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose, because I don't believe you would do that. But it's like walking blind into a minefield. I don't... I don't even know if this is a question more than it is something I feel like I have to say.
Your frustrations are more than warranted. They are frustrations that I share. It is uncomfortable to admit this to you, Clara, but I am walking as much in this minefield as you all are. It seems that there is an understanding in the world that something big is about to change. As I spoke to your class before about, I somewhat brought you all together as disparate individuals from different areas so that you could act as a form of understanding from as many different places and viewpoints as possible. It is my hope that working with Lehrman, working with the future of Empress Knights, that we will be able to bring about a future in which the judges, the council, takes more from different places than it does now. That there is a sense of this city working for every place it touches, not just taking from every place it touches. To that end, only your class is truly aware of this matter. It is difficult for me to know who amongst the classes here stands entirely with that ideal rather than, in some cases, what they've been brought up with in this city to believe. I would like to believe that they all see things similar to the way that I think you and I do, but I do not know this for sure. What I do know is that either way, I truly want in the future for them to be as prepared for these emerging threats as possible. And as much as I can, I'm making every action to ensure that is the case. Because you are right, that there are these mounting threats in every direction. And I cannot foresee them all. So how possibly could my students yet do so?
I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Is that for one reason or another, there's a lot of attention focused here at the moment, whether it's on you or on Andrus is basically famous, Caliban's a noble, I'm basically the heiress to a country. We're not going to escape those eyes, and as much as I appreciate that the year 2 thing will take some pressure off, it doesn't change who we are. And statistically, if this year has been anything to go by so far, we'll get promoted to year 2s, and then as year 2s start doing things year 3s would do, and it'll just never change. The cycle remains eternal. I think we are both of one mind, and we have been the entire time. I don't have a problem leading your vanguard, becoming the 5 people in a team that everyone else can look at and say, oh, hey, they managed to do it, put aside all their differences and figure it out. But the blind can't lead the blind. I'm just worried that playing Shadow War is just going to get your pieces lost in the shadows. You can't play chess in the dark.
What is it you propose? That I share what I shared with your class with every other class that walks through the halls? I cannot change the threats that you will face. That much is unfortunately true. The only thing I can see that I can alter is the understanding of what is at play in the world, I suppose.
I personally think that would at least go in a step in the right direction. I'm Unfortunately, going to have to say that I do think some people would turn around and say they vehemently disagree with your vision. Maybe look for other things or transfer elsewhere. You do risk losing some students and some support. But my mother told me when I was really young, it's one of the only things I really remember about her. Her favourite statement to us as children was, you have to act with wisdom, but you still have to act. Sitting on the fence doesn't change anything. And I'm not saying that's what we're doing, but we certainly haven't laid out a groundwork for what comes after. I spend a lot of time among the people in the academy, and I fully believe that most of them would not just support you, but double down. I think there are people across the city who would appreciate someone standing for something, for a welcome change. That's why the paladins are gaining traction. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire.
She looks down at the desk in front of her. You see this, like, old ink pen. It's, like, onyx black with little traces of, like, mineral veins that run through it. It gives it the sort of look of, like, rivers through a dark countryside, sort of at night, is similar to what it looks like under the light in here. She looks down at it. And she says, I have done my best to shield and protect and to ensure that when my students graduate, the same fate does not befall them as those that saved my life out there in the field. But I do see wisdom in what you're saying, that too much of this shielding could be more dangerous than it is helpful. I cannot promise what action I will take off of this statement, but in time, I believe I can see a path in which I might be able to act a little more in the light.
I'm not expecting one conversation with one person in your whole academy to radically shift your worldview. I'm good at talking, but I'm not quite that pretentious.
No, but I put together your class for a reason, and it would be silly of me to do so and then ignore what comes of it.
Your goal to make sure that knights don't fall, it's really noble. But if you take a walk through some of these classes, through some of the halls, read the mission reports, a lot of us are here knowing that we might fall. We're here because of other people, to protect other people, to make differences. It would be best if we could avoid casualties, but people don't become Empress Knights because they're scared of them. They want to mitigate them the same way you do, just for people who can't fight back. Thank you for listening to my nonsense, and I wouldn't mention it if I didn't think it was important. I know what fighting fire with fire can cost. It took my family and my home from me. But strangely, I've come around to a different way of thinking since I've been here. Sometimes you can't just let things pass. You'll probably have loads of other people. Mistel has like a whole list.
I'm sure, yes, Miss Draken does. She opens up a drawer next to her, and she pulls out a crystal tablet and slides it across the desk towards you, Clara, and says, off of your report on the individuals that you rescued and gave asylum in your homeland, the Judge Lehrman has seen that there is certain avenues that could be taken with relations between your homeland and his faction of judges. Since you are here in the city and other members of your family are not, he wondered if you would like to keep in contact in order to discuss certain opportunities as and when they come up.
Yes. I should. Thank you.
She lifts the tablet towards you and says, this is a tablet that's unlinked from the main network. It's used for judges to communicate with their assistants. This is not an official position. However, you can contact the judge through this.
Thank you. Weirdly, I seem to do a lot of this these days.
But yeah, hands it over to you.
Right, I'm gonna unlock the door now.
Please, enjoy the rest of your week.
I will tuck the tablet into my jacket before I walk out the door.
You tuck it away. Clara, give me an Arcana check.
Ooh. I am thoroughly mediocre at these.
11. You can feel that this crystal tablet has more to it in the sense that this is a tablet you could attune to. You're not entirely sure what it would do, but it functions as a contact tablet for messaging without attuning to it. You can press the thing, the screen, and it works. But there's something more there as well.
I currently have a spare slot because I would have given my expended pass without trace crystal back. So I suppose I'll attune to it for now, at least until we need to go out to do something.
Yeah, okay. In which case, yeah, it would take an hour, but you can head out and begin attuning to it, sort of concentrating.
I'll do that while I wait for everyone else to come back.
I think, Mistel would look up as you come out, a little bit very beautifully organized, neat handwriting on a full double-sided piece of paper at this point, as she looks up at you and says, did you get the answers you were after?
Yes and no. I got the answers I thought I was going to get. And then I asked a question I knew wasn't going to get answered and have wound up with more questions. But I did that knowing it was going to happen. It's my own fault.
Mistel, closes her eyes, as she's trying to follow, and then opens them again and says, that doesn't sound like I don't get to go in. And she, stands up and sighs and takes her piece of paper and says, are you doing anything after this? Want to just hang out a little bit?
Clara mentally goes through how many questions Mistel has written down. Do I reckon she's going to be in there at least an hour?
Looking at it, you think some of them are probably shorter answers. You do see some stuff in there about, what this means for the relations with Dulukop specifically, some deep political, what does this mean for the Stark Assembly and my familia, something that would just be a horrendous question to have to answer, but yeah, you think that she'll be in there for a while, Clara.
Clara's gonna make the quick approximation. I need to go home and feed the slimes. So, let's say, hour and a half?
Yeah, sure. I don't think this will take more than 10 minutes.
Clara looks... if that's how you feel.
she starts walking past you as she's heading towards the door, and you're like walking away. And then she looks at you and says, "By the way, I sort of confessed to Caliban. We'll talk about it later." And then heads into the office.
Clara like lunges towards the door, but it's already been
Click,
shut and
silence zone.
I know there's no point in banging on it.
Yeah, you head off towards feeding the slime, concentrating on attunement. Over at the apartment, Elias has pulled up another one of these tablets that's like built into the wall that seems to have some connection with the records somewhere, maybe in the Sage library itself. And he says, I had an idea. This Striker fellow, his near survival, the fact that the Paladins are all former EKs, the language in one of the initial documents that was released to the public seemed to illustrate that the person who wrote it was quite familiar with I2, specifically with East Academy. What I thought I'd do is I would look up EKs that graduated East Academy and that have either gone missing or passed away within a 2-month span either side of the Striker disappearance. And what I've pulled up is around 7 EK titles that I can say either went missing or were noted as killed in action around the same time as Striker. Would you like the details of these individuals?
Don't want to, but having information is better than not having it when we randomly encounter them, which is likely given our luck record.
2 of the A rank, Striker, and an Empress Knight by the title of Bookbinder.
Okay.
1 B rank EK by the name of Overcharge.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 4 are C rank. The Lilac Dame, Open Arms, Armored Core, and Runewall.
Second, Lilac 4, and the last one is at least not Rundia.
No, Runewall.
Yeah, Runewall.
Those seem to be the ones that sort of at least match those parameters. It could well be that there are people from Immortus among their numbers. Who knows? But that were the 2 defining features I could pull out from the information both given to me by yourself and by the initial documentation, which was released to the public.
One moment. Striker was a graduate from East Academy?
Yes.
But people with that kind of firepower do graduate from here as well. Good to know.
This is of some time ago, much before your headmistress took control of the academy, of course, but the reputation that no East Academy student ever makes it above B rank is one that is parroted a lot, but actually holds no truth in reality.
I mean, I've seen the, thinking back to my Praetor interaction, I've seen the resources they have. I've seen that with the effortlessness with which they can command unfathomably valuable gears and materials, or access them, which allow for even greater experimentation and customization. Particularly with my field, where material is everything, that's very hard to overlook.
It is still certainly true that no EK from East Academy has ever become S rank, but there are certain... There are disparaging rumors about the Academy that are exaggerated. But you are right, the resources are a steep mountain to climb if you are not given access to them. Is there anything more I can do to assist you all? Otherwise, I imagine we're getting to the point where the sun is dipping down behind the horizon, and since I am the responsible adult in the room, I should be telling you to get back to the academy.
I believe you've given me enough to start working on. We have our work cut out for us. I thought we'd have this week to get back into the swing of things, not have to fire full burst again.
We must have done something in a past life. What'd you do?
Well, I mean, maybe I don't know, cut the fingernail off the goddess in the wrong way. Who knows?
While there's no evidence for reincarnation, most certainly when you pass on, your spirits will add to the idea plane that the concept of stressed and overworked truly do exist within the world.
I wonder if the spirit of stress is just the most powerful of them all.
Matched only by deadlines, I imagine.
Oh God. We have one in a month now.
Wait, what's that one again?
Deadlines.
Special.
No. What was the deadline?
the special operation.
Do a mission.
Yeah, do a mission with the full year.
We don't know who will win.
Yeah, the details of the mission not released yet, but I mean, technically it's your full year, so you'll go with every combat class, every engineering student, even the logistics students will be with you.
Controversial take. I don't know how to feel about having the non-combatants also in the field.
Working with non-combatants is gonna be something EKs will have, like guarding locations, that's something you'll have to learn to do anyway, but I get what you're saying since they're also students.
We actually get any information on when we get like actual mission details?
No, you didn't. There was no mission details as of yet, but also, I mean, the headmistress already like just dropped a pretty big bomb. She was like, let's let people have 24 hours to come to terms with this and ask me questions before I'm like, and this is the mountain that you must climb.
Because Dafer in his head is already like porting off, okay, like we have a mission, so that means we should already like split up again, or like who does what. I think this time I want to be more focusing on material supplies for the group. So like, okay, since I'm already doing the favor for Niall and I can combine it with stuff for Fiona, then what more root stitching shit can I do that might be easier to pull off than Niall's, that might still be of aid in some sense?
At Hera, Uther, and Caliban, you see Elias get this like little... You know, like the kind of thing people use for moving a fridge out of an apartment and just like hook it underneath Dafer's heels, lean it back and start wheeling him towards the door as he's mumbling under his breath.
We'll take him from here.
Understood.
I do more.
I'm imagining that like
do it on
the bit from My Hero Academia where Deku starts like whispering to himself, where he's just like mumbling, so like he just like wheels him away.
Dafer is just like mumbling out loud, like how
Yeah.
he plans on
Yes.
combining both helping the church as well as outfitting everyone, etc., and keeping up with the general schedule as well.
As you're
And
just
the fucking tournament comes up 2 weeks after the fucking mission too.
just getting wheeled away. He'll look at Uther at your Caliban and say, anything more for me before you leave with your companion?
One more thing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
When
Just one
I
more
was
thing.
talking, one more thing.
thing.
I was conversing with the sage system, and it made a comment about the Emperor and necromancy, but didn't expound on that.
There are some quirks of the system. It turns out that Crystalm, when you run a lot of magic and information through it, can get things a little jumbled up. I imagine the comment was a reference to the fact that the Emperor was most distraught over the loss of the Empress. Obviously, the city is named for the monument that he had built here. The idea of leaving the Emperor out of some discussion of necromantic magics has... he most likely had ideas about wishing to bring his dearly departed back.
Ah. Poor man.
Weird question.
Mm-hmm.
If that is what it's referencing, is that something that is like in historical records that, or why would it jump to that? How does it know?
A question researchers are most interested in figuring out, and unfortunately my knowledge pools are wide, but not as deep. This system is very new. While reliable, it is perhaps a little... I don't have a good word for it.
Peculiar.
Sassy is the word that comes to mind. But peculiar is definitely much more accurate.
Wily.
It is somehow able to draw certain inferences more than just being a... It was designed to respond to the will of the individual, as most Crystalm is. So that when someone seeks to learn about a topic, it does not simply give them the answer. It tends to take them on a journey that will lead them to the answer. Somewhere in this magical instruction, some form of, I don't know, witty response has been embedded. That's what I believe, at least. I try not to use the system myself.
I'm a little hesitant to touch it. I am curious, though, at how Crystalm has a personality, though.
I don't know if it's the Crystalm having a personality so much as the enchanters that put it together, leaving something of themselves in it. I don't know the main engineer behind the project, but if I were to guess, this individual themselves has a little bit of this sass to them.
I see.
I hope it caused you no great discomfort.
Oh, no, nothing of the sort. I was just curious.
Might I ask, what was your inquiry to do with necromancy about?
I'm trying to write a new spell. Something that would... Are you familiar with enhanceability?
Yes, of course.
I'm trying to design it so that it would bring back stories of influential figures.
And that led you to inquiring about the sort of founder figures of the city, and you left the Emperor out, which caused the system to find a certain amount of irony in that. I understand now.
Yeah. It's kind of funny to think about the machine understanding irony.
Understanding is a tall term at Hera, but yes.
Would you have any suggestions for looking? Start me on a journey that might help particular tales about one of the figures.
From my point of view, much too much stock is put into these legends of history. Much of what they were has probably eroded. In that sense, your spell that seeks to bring about the strength of the story is, shall we say, the most well-guided principle that you are following. To that end, I would focus not on the deep and hidden tales. Go with what is believed and not what is true.
I see. Thank you.
I wish you luck. Guides you to the door, closes it behind you. There's no crystal vehicle to take you back, but you guys know the underground route well enough to head back from the Sage area. I think, all of you have been here recently, so you know the way back. Anything you want to do on the way, or are you happy to just journey back?
Just journey back.
Do I have... Do I know where Dylan is? Because I would like to speak to him. If I don't, I would send him a message.
Dylan's going to be in the Academy workshop or in, one section of the non-combat students sort of dormitory stay for if you really want to find him this evening.
Yeah.
So,
I want to get this out the way simply because we are about to have a mountain of shit on us. So I want to
get the conversation
about
before.
my deal with
Yeah.
later, yeah.
I will be right back. I just need to pop to the bathroom, but I will be back in a second.
Capri.
Yes.
I zonked out for the last bit of the live discussion. What was that? It was about you bringing about a new spell. I forgot which spell and what Elias suggested to you.
You're busy mumbling to yourself. Turning
Don't type that
enhanceability into necromancy and taking the popular stories of the influential figures of the city's history as the things that I would be enhancing, as bestowing them upon the user.
So,
I don't.
Could you repeat that? That I tried to pass that sentence and I failed.
Okay, I'll drop the accent. I am taking enhance ability and turning it into a necromancy, and I am taking the popular figures, the sage, the witch, the merchant, the empress, the judge, and imbuing aspects of what they stood for, what they represent, as the stories that are being enhanced.
What does it mean for a story to be enhanced, or is it mostly just you replace eagles?
Yeah,
with
that's
them
my
with
question. Is
sages
like,
with them?
what is the end result of this going to be?
So necromancy is invoking memory, stories, what people know about something rather than bringing back an actual soul. So I am going to use that to sort of bring the story to life as a bit of an enchantment.
It's essentially enhanced ability, but more flavored by the accomplishments and talents of these figures than like Bull's strength being more like Merchant's appraisal, like things like that. So as to the exact effect, I don't think even Adhira really knows what it will do. This is more of a like, I would like to find out the nuances of necromancy beyond I made a dead body stand up, you know. That's what I'm getting anyway.
Who wants to put Guillermo del Toro to shame?
What if I put
Use for necromancy that won't get the feds involved. Got it.
What if I put eyes in my hands?
For now.
Wouldn't that be great?
What if Guillermo del Toro put eyes in Frankenstein's mouth?
I mean, he didn't.
Clara. Feeding the slimes, it would be quite a while before your teammates are back. They seem to have gone for a little bit of a private lecture at this point. Attuning to the Crystalm tablet, it has 6 charges, and it gets 6 charges back every Sunday, basically every long rest. You can spend 1 charge to cast Identify through the tablet, 2 charges to cast Sending, but the Sending only works to the individual that the phone is connected to, so the Sending will only go to Lerman, but it will work outside of the Crystalm network. So essentially you can still communicate through this Crystalm tablet even when you're in the field, basically, but in a much more limited capacity. This Crystalm tablet also for 3 charges can essentially capture video and audio. If you think of it like the scry spell, but it is centered on the tablet itself, and then it just records whatever that spell would have picked up for you to view and listen to at a later time, but it can only store 1 at a time. It also shrinks down into a, Axel has the little Crystalm lighter. It shrinks down into one of these small tubes of Crystalm and disguises itself as a, essentially like a simple prestidigitation crystal. If someone was to scan it, it would look like something designed for like cleaning stains out of like your clothes if you spill coffee on yourself or something like that. That is the full breadth of its ability.
Nice.
Let me make an item entry for that.
You don't have any message on the tablet as far as you can see, Clara. It looks like it functions just like your sort of like group chat stuff, but seemingly goes to one person. I don't know if you want to send a message or whether you'd rather wait for something. But you would have, you would feed the slimes in the little in the room that you've like constructed for them. You see some of the people from the non-combat classes brushing off the slate drake, getting some of that like dust into bags this evening. But yeah, it seems like life here, for that major disruption, it seems pretty calm still, Clara. Perhaps the stone has just hit the surface of the water and the ripples are yet to spread, but there's still a sort of relaxed air to everyone at present anyway.
Nice. I will send a very simple message that's just like, "Hello, it's Clara. I have received the tablet. Thanks."
About 10 minutes later, you would get a response saying, glad that you've received it and glad that you're willing to talk with me. Perhaps sometime in the future we can meet face to face, but for now this will have to do. My name is Lerman, as you're probably aware, but I think it would be impolite not to introduce myself properly. I have some interest in a passing remark that was given to me regarding what had occurred to you afield, especially regarding the emotions of rangers and this plan to allow the purchasing of land. And I would like your opinions, thoughts, and concerns to see if they mirror my own. And that's where it leaves off.
Land?
What did you say, David?
Purchasing land? Do I remember anything about that?
Yes. It was stated that the governor was planning on clearing out a bunch of land around the capital in order to have it sold. Yeah.
Right. I think the... Was that around the capital? Wasn't that about around the one major city that was outside of the forest area?
No, it was in the Heaven's Pillars, and it was about the capital of Heaven's Pillar. That's why all the rangers have been pulled back to the capital, was to clear out dangerous predators. Quote unquote dangerous predators, as Clara points out, they have an ecosystem purpose, but yes, it does prevent easy expansion, which is what the rangers have been pulled to do.
Okay, then I misunderstood because I thought back in the day that was about
Almirage? No.
Yes.
After a while, Mistel would... where would she find you, actually, Clara? I don't know whether that message would have taken you into your room, or whether you would have stayed around the slimes, or where would Mistel find you eventually?
She'll have stayed around the slimes. I told Mistel I was going to feed the slimes,
Sure.
so I might as well be here, because that's probably where she'll check.
Yeah. By the time Mistel arrives, most other people are, there's no one else in this space. In fact, most people are inside. You can see the lights on in the various dorms. Mistel, steps in, takes a look around, and says, hey, still here? I wasn't sure I'd find you here, but I thought I'd come look first.
Well, I did say I was going to feed the slimes. I thought it was a good idea not to run off before I'd seen you, because you have something important we need to talk about, apparently.
Right. The headmistress mentioned...
No. I mean, yes, but no.
Oh, regarding Caliban. I
Yes,
did...
regarding Caliban.
I mentioned that I would make sure that things were more low-key while your plan with this Berinian fellow still goes on, so don't worry, I already took into account disturbing any sort of issue around that.
Mister, I mean this in the nicest way possible. You've never had, girlfriends, have you?
Well, no. No.
No, I can tell you're leaving out the juicy part.
Which part is that?
What he said, and if he feels the same. You're leaving me with, oh, we talked about it. Well, girl, I know you talked about it. I heard what you said.
Right. Yes. He reciprocated my feelings, and we agreed to spend some time together in, a more personal one-to-one sense. He was very Caliban about it, and I somewhat chastised him for it, and I thought that there was a really good. It was a good moment between us. It was very. I thought it was cute.
Look at you.
She comes and
Does
says,
that mean...
"Go on."
This is a question I realize I don't quite understand. You have a very important, how do I put this? A sense of familial duty.
Yes.
What happens sometime in the future if you two should take your relationship further? Do you become Mistel von Hellick?
She goes bright red. Just instantly. Like, you've never seen Mistel look like that before. You see her eyes go, like, a little wide, and she says, I certainly like my last name. That said, one could say that by adding that kind of accolade to my family, I would be fulfilling my obligation to my yes, yeah.
Okay, the yes was what I was looking for. Look, between us girls, I never put much thought into the whole marriage and children thing. I don't really know how it works. So I'm supposed to be pretending that I'm about to get married and presumably be very excited about it, but I don't know what that means.
Well, I imagine it means something different to everyone, but I mean, if I were to think about it, which I haven't, I would say that beyond it being some ancient tradition between families, I think the important part is the idea that you found someone that you want to merge your life with so much that there is a selflessness to it. But that selflessness is mutual, so it balances out. So I think, to me, I would be excited because I found someone that matched me, was my equal, and that I really, truly, deep down, felt that way. I don't know if that's
It's going to take a lot of acting.
helpful.
No, it's really helpful. Well, with things the way that they are, and I don't just mean the state of the world at large, Caliban and I are pursuing a scheme, and we both know rather well that we're far more interested in other people. I would like to expedite this as soon as possible so you can have your man back and I can be rid of him in that way.
She thinks for a moment and says, well, this Berinian fellow, he certainly seemed desperate. I'm sure that should you present a big enough opportunity, there is no doubt that he would take it.
Yeah, I could see that. So now I just need to work on something big that he'd be interested in.
I mean, anything of monetary value is obviously going to draw him in. I don't know. Is there something you have that, if at the very least, if he doesn't want, you could make him believe he wanted?
Maybe. Maybe I should just ask Caliban about it. I don't really know much about his uncle, other than the fact that, well, I would call him a slime ball, but that feels offensive to the actual slime balls in the room, who I happen to quite enjoy.
Yeah, Mistle turns around and pats one on the head and says, "You're much better."
So I don't know. He seems really interested in, well, if what Caliban said is true, then anything the goddess relics, but I don't have one of those.
This all started because he sold Caliban's family sword, right? One of them, anyway.
I think so.
What about a sword made of dragon bone?
Well, I mean, probably, but I also don't have a sword made of dragon bone.
But I do.
Mistle, I can't.
Well, obviously you're not actually going to go through with giving it to him, right? This is all to trick him,
course not.
isn't it? Well then,
Yes, I don't...
why not? I trust you.
Because I feel like I haven't done anything to earn that trust.
Clara, you're the only person who's ever been my friend.
Oh. Well, I suppose if that's the truth, and I am doing this so you and Caliban can be together forever.
Well, as long as I can put up with him, right?
I'll pass the idea on. Obviously, Caliban might have something else to say about it, or know whether that would work or not, but I'll only do it if you're actually okay with it. Don't just say this because you feel like you have to.
I've come to understand that I am more than my family connections and the things they have given to me. While I like the sword, even if it was to leave forever, the idea that it might get this back for Caliban, I'm more than willing.
Well, we'll do our best to make sure it isn't leaving forever regardless. But
just let me know when you need
what
it.
if it comes at a really inopportune time, like, you know, the end of the month mission and we don't have it back, or I have to keep pretending that it's something that's just sat somewhere?
I will work on procuring a replacement blade for any interim problems. Besides,
Mind if I pop in for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, this is me, the disembodied voice of Caliban.
What is?
Oh, Ghost Caliban! I can almost hear him.
He's in your brain.
Proposing the
Try my
idea
brand
of
shampoo.
proposing the idea of just initially having the sword for Bahanir to appraise first, and then just like have him verify its authenticity, take it back, make a forgery, and then just like have it like be presented later.
Yeah. I mean,
God, I love the upper class.
He only needs to look at it, and then just have like a second, then just have a forgery that he's not even gonna take like glance at, because well he already verified its authenticity.
I didn't think this was ever going to come up. I thought it might initially, but I wasn't expecting it to come up ever. As part of one of the things that Clara is proficient in, I am proficient, of all things, with a forgery.
And what
I can write it a letter of authenticity.
And what a coincidence! I have Tinker's tools, so I could make it look extra convincing.
Oh god.
So
And I have real bones.
if we say that time has moved on a little bit and the three of you have found a space to talk to each other, because obviously Mr. was planning on hanging out with Clara and eventually you guys would come back to the dorms. So I think it's fine that, like, if the three of you have, like, gone into Caliban's room or Clara's room or whatever to talk about it. Mr. would say to you, Caliban, so that's pretty much the idea, that we use the blade, and you think that if we get him to look at it, you can convince him to part with it until whatever comes next. Is that what you think?
The thing about Bahanir is that his greed has led him to be a very shrewd businessman. He'll definitely want to see it. He'll definitely see that it's appraised, that his eyes have judged it to see that it is accurate because he trusts his own vision upon seeing it. And however, I will lend credence to my own pride that Bahanir is in fact also of my blood. I am aware of our own pride to trust our judgment. So if we did swap it out after he sees it, he would trust himself enough to think that the replica would be authentic.
You think he has such pride in his initial skills that he would never deign to think that he could be tricked, essentially.
I know, I know this because I'm just as prideful.
I think the difference for me, Caliban, is you at least have more to back that up, but I understand what you're saying.
And he thinks he has, and he thinks that he's
just as
of
skilled.
the same mindset. Yeah.
Mistle sits, kind of like kicking her feet, looking between Clara and Caliban, and says, "You just let me know when you need my blade."
It won't even be long.
She nods.
Well, so while we're here, anything you want to tell me, Kelvin? Just, randomly.
No, not really.
You can think of nothing at all that's changed since we last spoke.
Did you get a haircut?
Clara's gonna blankly turn round to Mistle. All of this to look forward to.
You can see Mistle desperately looking at your hair, Clara, worried that she missed that you got a haircut and didn't comment on it. You look up Mistle looking at you like, oh my god, am I a bad friend? Did Caliban notice Clara got her haircut and I didn't? Like, she's looking desperately at you right now.
You know what? Never mind. I didn't say anything anyway.
I think there is like a very important medical diagnosis that these two need to go.
I think you mean diagnosed soulmates.
Are they in love? Worse, they're stupid.
Keep it together.
That's the thing, is like, these are individually two very intelligent people. What happens? Where do the brain cells go when they're in the same room?
Straight into the hair.
In Caliban's hair, and only Caliban's hair. It absorbs everything.
Oh god, I'm just now picturing like the hair the offspring would have.
Oh my god, it would be silver curls and it would be so much hair.
Oh,
Just to let you know, Caliban, you would have received the message you got from your uncle. Notes that there is an auction coming up at an individual's home by the name of let me just type it out, but it's Sir Mance. That is the person who is having an auction at their home to raise funds, and your uncle has some reason to suspect that the blade that he sold will be there, but he needs a reason to be invited. Therefore, he thinks that perhaps this wedding gift could be used merely as an excuse, and that we could pull the object out at the last moment, but it would get us in the building to potentially get the sword back. It's a message you would have received on your crystalline tablet at some point in the last couple of days, basically, Caliban.
So he basically just needs a, like...
He needs something
gift
to sell, but... So basically he's saying, like, hey, we could use this wedding gift if it's valuable as a fake... You know, we're not really going to sell it. We're just going to, you know, pot it up for auction, but it would get us there. It would get us in the building.
pull that at the last second, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what your uncle says in the message he has written you, Caliban. Whether you feel that you trust that is a different question, but that's what he's put to you.
I'm going to send back a message of, hey, I might have an idea. I just would like if you could, like, appraise a possible item that you have in mind, or that you might have in mind.
You get a very short and simple response back. Anytime, my boy.
And I'm gonna ask first. I'm gonna look at Mistle. I'm gonna look at Clara and say, he's asking now. Last chance to back out. Going once, going twice.
Mistle shakes her head and says, "No way. I've thought it through. I'm in."
All right. I type in, how does Dragonbone sound?
Like 1,000,000 gold pieces. Love to see it.
Okay. Wait. You know what? Yeah. Okay. If she has the sword at any point, I'm probably just gonna, like, flash a picture.
Yeah, Mistle always has that rapier on her. She'll just lay it out on the bed for you to take a picture of and send. The response you'd get from your uncle is relic from Heaven's Pillar, question mark. Either way, excited to see it. Just wasn't what I expected.
May I borrow the sword for a second?
Of course. Mistle, picks it up and hands it to you. Handle first.
Well, I won't pretend that rapiers are necessarily my weapon of choice, but noble birth does do something. Caliban, do you want a picture of me using it? It might make him feel like it does belong with me, in fact. Oh wait, I might have a dress that matches this.
Clara.
I'm looking at Clara, like, with the rapier, and it's like seeing, like, it's like how do I say this without sounding offensive?
I'm not sure.
It's like okay.
You can't
It's
trick
like
Caliban.
it's like seeing like your dog finding out how to use a straw for the first time.
What?
You deserve prison.
It's like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, a noble's weapon, Miss Whipsword. Give me a performance check with advantage, Clara, to like, I don't know, take a good photo with this, with all the setup and preparation you have.
We're even gonna give it a pretty. We're even gonna give it a nice filter.
No, not that one. No, oh, don't use sepia.
Put a slight minor illusion over this, and done. Sending
with my complexion. There.
Sending the photo. Brilliant's response was, yes. I can see what drew your eye, Caliban. Wonderful. See you soon. Mistle looks at that and says, disgusting.
Yeah. I feel like I need a shower.
I suppose it'll just be the two of you meeting with him, tomorrow? He seems eager. You can probably go whenever you wanted. He'd probably accept you as you are right now.
I don't know if I have the patience to deal with him right now.
No.
But soon. We should sort it soon.
Mistle furrows her brow a little bit and then looks at you, Caliban, and says, we think of this man as an idiot. Is there any possibility he isn't? That all of this is some complex trap?
Safe to assume he's opportunistic, which is why I'm even proposing the forgery in the first place.
I just wonder.
I'm not thinking he might backstab us on the premise that he would figure out it's a forgery. Actually, quite the opposite. That it might be the real thing. I'd even expect it if he did decide to turn code after initially believing that it's real.
This Sir Mance fellow, I've never heard him before. As far as I was aware, sirs and dames were a sort of lost thing here in the city. At the same time, does the rest of your class know about what's going on? Is there any way they could be there for you if things... I'm just worried that... I don't know. It's not so much the sword, but... This blade is the one thing that you want more than anything in the world, Caliban. So, doesn't it feel a little... specific that he happens to know where it is?
I feel like if he sold it, then he would do... Like, the more, like, as she said that, like, he started to, like, think, yeah, that it does feel a little weird, but it's a risk.
It is. I just wonder if there's some way we can mitigate it.
Well, I haven't mentioned this to anyone else in the class, but, well, if there's one thing that I think we know by now, they're not going to say no to a heist.
And I'm there if you need me as well.
It's fun. We could go shopping with that hero again to get a nobility clothes.
I do like shopping. So I found out.
You need to go with the right people, I think, otherwise it's just a bore.
Yeah, it seems so. And I don't mean to imply anything, but Uther strikes me as someone who might have some knowledge about these kind of events.
Maybe. I wouldn't be overly surprised. Besides, well, not that we'd really be able to afford them, but there could be some things there that maybe even we could make use out of if we pooled all our cash together or something.
Well, and also, Uther's name did draw my attention, so I admit I might have looked into him a little.
You did?
Yes. Well, there aren't too many people from Dulukop proper here in the academy. He's from a long line of bodyguards. If there was any reason to bring someone with you to one of these high-profile events, it would be having a bodyguard.
I've been doing my best not to ask, apart from that time that I accidentally saw the face of his mother.
That makes her throw her brows and look at you like a photo he had.
Oh, no, like this weird memory looking into the future-y type thing. I don't know, it's weird.
Okay.
That's a conversation for another time, because that's a whole different thing.
She nods. Can I keep my sword for now, or do you need it?
I'm gonna look at Caliban. You're the expert here, not me.
I don't think we need it right now. Yeah, sure. Like he just gives the blade respectfully.
You pass this quite powerful weapon across between you and back to Mistle, who slots it back into the holster at her waist. Right, well, I should be back in my dorms. I'm sure my class has... I'm sure they're waiting for the answers to the questions that I asked.
Very well.
I'll see you around. And then she puts her hand out to squeeze yours, Caliban, before dipping out of the room and out of the dormitory.
I don't know how to reciprocate aside from just squeezing it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fine.
How do you react to Clara's boring gaze? Oh, wait, boring is not as in bored. Well,
boring
I
as
know.
it. Yeah. I think heading back into the main room, the only second years up are Noctis and Seth, who are talking about the transfer of classes over a game of chess, which Seth is obviously losing because Noctis always wins. But there seems to be some level of positivity between the two of them. They get along, they play a lot of games together. But yeah, what the rest of the class has been hearing is them sort of talking about Delphin is going to love the fact that the class has been merged when he wakes up. There's that sort of positive talk between the two of them that when he's back, he's going to be happy that there's a fuller class. I don't know if... I think Seth would look at Adhira, Dayfra, Uther in the room and just say to you, seems like we've caused you a little bit of trouble. Sorry about that.
Didn't say that again. And on that note, I wonder if I should. You know whether Dylan is in his in the workshop still?
Sorry, no, I haven't been in the workshop all day, but I imagine they are, especially having been told that they're heading into the field as a group.
I have something to talk with him about, and I want to get that out of the way now rather than later. And I think after that, I'll have to burn off some anxious energy. Do we have anything we need to talk about right now? Otherwise, I'll head off.
Seth shakes his head, but looks at the rest of your class. Says, not for me.
We can always find you if we need you.
I mean, I have my Crystal tablet, but no guarantees if I'll be looking at it after my talk with Dylan.
But yeah,
I need to see Axel.
So Dafer and Adhira head out. Uther leaving you with just Seth and Noctis until Mistle sort of breezes past you, gives you a polite wave and heads out. And then Clara and Caliban will come out, Uther. But yeah, Seth will talk to you for a little bit, Uther, saying, how do you feel about this whole group mission thing?
The group mission itself, or the intended outcome of said group mission?
I suppose first one, then the other.
I'm not sure how the non-combat students will do in the field. I have some hesitation on that. I am afraid that while the intention of promoting some of the classes is good, I fear it may cause casualties in the field.
Seth nods and says, I understand that fear. I understand it well.
I kind of... She said 24 hours was her open door policy. I may go tomorrow sometime and see if that's still there. I have a couple of questions I would like to pose.
I imagine it will be open till 5 tomorrow, so you'll have the day to go there between classes. Oh, it's club day tomorrow. Yeah, should be fine to go whenever you want.
Excellent.
Hey, it's your future. You don't have to mince your words with me.
It's not myself I worry about, technically. I'm in a larger than normal class size, so like,
Yeah.
we're already tipping the scales. I just wonder, like, would it be better to double up groups on these missions?
Oh, you
At
mean
least temporarily, till everyone has their footing,
I think
and then...
I think it's a good suggestion, Uther. If that's part of your questions, I can see good cause for it. And also...
Not necessarily... Maybe... I'm debating on... Because, like, I understand that resources are thin, so, like, maybe not, like, double up teachers, but at least double up classes with one senior teacher.
Seth nods and says, that potentially puts us in the field to work together as well. I'd be most interested to, if each of the already existing second year classes can help act like teachers in a sense on these missions in order to bring us all up to the same speed, then I would be interested in doing so. We'll be here for you, as well as Axel.
I don't know if you will go on missions with us. We're cursed.
You have no idea what that means. As he looks at you.
Undead sniper chasing us through the wilderness.
Huh? I can't say that's ever
He's not
happened.
undead, he's employed.
Worse, he's a capitalist.
No, he's not. He's part of the working class. What are you talking about?
Adhira, you were heading off to Axel's office, yeah.
Yes.
Heading there, you can tell Axel is in there. Do you want to like knock and wait to be called in, or do you want to just open the door? How do you approach the?
I'll knock.
Okay.
I'll knock.
You do hear, come in.
Slide the door open.
Adhira, everything okay? I know a lot's happened, but
Yeah, it's a lot to think about, but being able to spend a little time with Elias was enlightening. Fun.
he's a clever man. He's a pain, but he's clever.
How is he a pain?
That whole mission that we went on was at his behest. I would call that a pain. Not to mention the fact it's very difficult to trick him or otherwise get one past him. And he says he's blind, but I swear he knows where I am all the time.
Have you considered that he can... Wait, no, Axel doesn't smoke anymore, does he?
He does smoke.
No, he smokes actively.
Yes, smokes.
Have you considered that he smells the cigarette smoke?
Oh yeah, because I'm the only person who smokes in the city. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, what brand
Do
do you
you think like he can smell specific brands?
Yeah.
Okay, we're slowly narrowing it down, but I still feel like this is ridiculous.
Somebody's smoking a menthol.
May-
You?
Maybe I'm the only instructor who smokes in the academy. I'll give you that. I'm not gonna stop.
Shitty cigarettes. Axel's nearby.
I smell ramen.
Oh, God.
I asked you to send off some correspondence before we left on that last mission. And I was just stopping by to wonder if there was any word back.
Yes, there was. I expected something a little more friendly. He pushes forward a letter that you can see that he's already opened and read for himself.
I can't judge. I cannot judge.
He says, "This came for you from the office of our dear inspector."
She will take it and sliding it into her hand, read it.
It's an official summons for a meeting to do with a debriefing on the mission you took. It is an appointment, basically, Adhira, not like an informal chat or get in a room with her, but like on the record, documented Adhira Far will be here this weekend, this Saturday, with a time in like early in the morning, about 9 a.m.
Does it say that Zeta would be in attendance?
It's just you and her.
Okay, well, it's a start.
It's at her office. She is a very fastidious woman. This could well be just a normal thing for her. It's just not what I expected.
Considering her circumstance, I wouldn't put it past her.
She is
She
in
has to take
charge
precautions.
of one of the most high-profile investigations in the city, yes. I guess it could look bad, her taking private audiences with people involved in the investigation.
I think Axel has earned himself an insight check.
Yeah, what is he looking into within you at this moment, I guess? What am I trying to figure out here?
The meaning behind it here is words.
Okay, I can do that. 22.
He realizes that her handling of investigations has nothing to do with what Adhira meant by situation. Her circumstances.
He spends a moment and says, "Did Grim tell you something? There was a moment you were alone together."
He did. He sent me a message.
About Zeta?
Yes.
You don't have to tell me what it was. I would like to know how much of a risk you're about to take.
She's like me.
Elaborate.
I recall no artifact.
She doesn't need one at this point. She's fully possessed.
Do you know what the nature of the spirit is?
Yes. She is vengeance.
Go to the meeting. Be careful. I want to know what the result of it is. In the full honesty of it.
Yes, sir. She will turn, and with a smile on her face, she will leave.
Okay. Defer heading into the workshop area. There is a flood of students in here. You're able to find Dylan. He's in one corner. Similar amber problem in front of him. It's not been too long since you last saw him in here. Eventually, he'd notice you at the corner of his eye and stop what he was doing, sort of step away a little bit, because there's just a throng of people trying to have a conversation in there. It's just noise, Defer, as he walks over a little bit and wipes his brow and says, "Hey, you thinking about the mission already?"
I guess the anxious energy is just coming off me. That makes it obvious.
You're not alone. Everyone in here who's a problem solver is trying to solve problems we don't have yet. What's up?
So, I've been... two topics here. Number one, the meeting with Praetor. I'll be honest on that one. It has an advantage and a disadvantage for us, but the offer was too good. I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, what was it about in the end? I mean, obviously it was about Amber, but...
Yeah. I'll start with the good one to sweeten the message about what that was about.
Right.
We're about to get a line of amber, so your resource constraints will be lessened in the future.
Well, yes, that's good, but that's very generous.
Yep. I just struck a deal with me. You remember how we made the Ambaric Smite device?
Yeah, of course.
Essentially. Apparently, they are somehow not figuring out how to actually use something like that, or be able to channel Ambaric energy without blowing it up in their face. I am to aid them with their research in general. In that area as well as others. They want to catch up on their Amber research. Apparently, you are have a decent head start on them, and they can't figure out why.
I made my papers public. My methods are in there.
I think they just can't figure out the application.
He nods. And that's right, because I listed you as the primary tester of my products, essentially, so that's why they would have come to you.
What I don't quite understand is why it's supposedly such a problem for them when it...
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
every conversation we ever had, you mentioned it was intuitive, as using crystal, there was intentionality to it.
Yeah. Which is why this was confusing to me, because I showed a couple of my classmates as well how to use these, and
Right.
the few times we experimented, it wasn't much of a problem.
I thank you for telling me, Dafer. It raises a bunch of questions, and I don't know. I'm concerned for you more than anything, but if, like you said, you're being paid for that risk, so...
I don't think there is much of a risk there for me. What I'm mostly concerned with, or what doesn't sit too well with me, is that it feels right now that you are one of the people at the forefront in this area of research, and the head start you have might become smaller going forward.
I think that was always the risk, unfortunately. There are companies in this city that have far more resources than even Immortus Academy does. No doubt over at Licht and Dogmatic and all the other companies, they're messing with my production methods right now. But at the end of the day, I can still claim something if they do use my process exactly. Mm-hmm. And I still have my ingenuity. That's what I'll have to rely on.
The other one is we were stuck on material for the next level of Emberic smiting, and I've went to the Sage Repository to see if that can give any inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
What came out of that one was that cell can conduct electricity. So via that, one might be able to stabilize the inherent unstable nature of ripped raw and barrack shards.
Dylan thinks for a moment and says, normally I'm not a fan of working with shell, but there's that guy who's in the nurse's office I've caught in here a couple of times, Richard DeVow, I think his name was. Mm-hmm. He seems to have a good understanding of more complex shell types. I might have a conversation with him.
You mean in the loop as you will? I'll be happy to assist, as I will rapidly have more need for higher firepower.
Yeah.
At least for my classmates, if not for me myself.
Hey. He puts a hand on your shoulder and says, whatever comes, we're in the same year and we're in a partnership. Let's approach whatever comes next as partners. That's how I think of you.
I'll do.
All right.
In a sense, I want to apologize, but also I can't say it's much to apologize for, in a sense. If the offer was just,
If it was the other way around, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I get it.
And I have another project also with rune stitching to get to, and I don't even know when I'll have all the time for all the things I need to do, and I need to go burn off some of this energy I have.
He nods. You get to it.
Okay. A good time. We'll speak later. I'm looking forward to a message from you.
Be working with you soon.
With that, Dafer would leave and make his way to where he would assume Secret is at this point. Like, he shoot her a message. Hey, I need to burn off some energy. Would you be up for like some late evening / night sparring with, I don't know, dinner afterwards?
I need to make an insight check.
Okay.
Anyway, we're over here. Ooh, yes, we are good at wisdom. Oh, I rolled well. Messi comes back from Sigrid, says, essentially, the light should come on in the field right now, and the nights are quite warm. Wanna use the training fields rather than the dojo.
I mean, and if we're out there, we might as well picnic. I'll grab some stuff.
Meet you in 30 minutes?
That should be enough.
Does anyone else have something you want to do that evening? I don't know if Caliban wants to talk to Uther about the auction or not, to like fill him in on the loop, or whether you guys want to wait till everyone's together, if you're going to tell everyone at all.
I'll wait until everybody's together.
Okay.
It'd be easier to get everybody's information.
Okay. So probably in the morning then, the next day. Uther, is there anything you want to do that evening before?
Yeah, I still have the identify crystal that I borrowed. I would like to identify the dragon horn. I did the blood, I didn't do the horn. So like try to figure out what uses I could get out of it also, if possible.
The horn does seem to be storm dragon horn, Uther, matching the blood. It could be folded into a weapon in order to give it not just lightning damage, but like an extra dice of lightning damage. It could also be used to encode a spell into a weapon, such as Call Lightning or something along those measures, Uther. As for a shell, you're not too like that's way more complex.
Yeah. Out of my wheelhouse.
But you think it probably could do something for a shell. You don't really know what.
And while it's my turn, can I go through the box again and just see if there's anything that I've missed?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
I don't think there is, because I think I investigated it pretty thoroughly the last couple of times, but as was stated, this is a puzzle. Oof.
11?
Fucking okay. Yep.
Having checked it through pretty thoroughly, Uther, the only thing that you're able to notice by like bringing a light in there and moving it around a little bit is there are scratch marks inside this box that look like someone tried to claw their way out from the inside. That catches your attention. There's like little like scratches where someone like tried to claw at it. It looks like at some point in history someone was contained within this box and tried to scratch their way out with their fingernails. There are little like indentations in the wood that make you think of someone trying to claw their way out with their bare hands.
Are we talking child size or a
Full adult.
size?
Full
Okay.
adult. Unfortunately, that doesn't avail you too much to do with your puzzle, but perhaps adds a question instead.
You think?
Yeah.
That's a question for Clara. Where would Clara be at this time of night? Is she in the dorm, or is she still scheming with Caliban?
I'd probably come back. We have since finished scheming.
Uther would try to find you if you're in your room, knock on your door, etc., etc.
Uther, do you need something?
Do your witch eyes work on inanimate objects?
Okay, I'm gonna need you to go back like 4 steps.
And I'm the one that gets yelled at.
Which 4 steps?
The 4 that led up to you asking that question with 0 context. Okay, I'll make this easier for you. What inanimate object am I looking at?
The large case I got from my mother's office.
Wonderful, step 1. Step 2, why am I looking at that case?
There are scratch marks on the inside implying that someone was locked in there at some point.
Step 3, what are you hoping that I'd find?
A fucking clue, because I
And step 4, have you, perchance, had anyone examine those scratches with human eyes first?
myself.
And your conclusion was that there was just someone trapped inside?
Why else would someone be scratching on the inside of a case like that?
Show me the box.
Yeah, leading you to my room, to the box.
Yeah, the box that
This is
is
what I have to deal with.
the box too big for the doorway that is like stood up. It probably takes up like your dorm rooms aren't that big. Uther, you've probably had to like slide your bed like over slightly in order to like jam it up in the corner, but it is there in the space. And open, Clara. What do you want to do?
I mean this in the nicest way. I hate what you've done with the place.
Thank you. I didn't want to leave it out in the middle of the floor for anyone to go through.
Probably fair, given the supposed structures on the inside. I'm gonna have a look at them with, like, just my eyes first. Is it like... Let me try and find a way to phrase this that makes sense. Is it one set of scratches, or, like, multiple?
Give me an investigation check.
I can assist if possible.
Yeah,
Please,
definitely
because my
good.
investigation's not amazing.
15.
Mine's good. I'm just rolling good shit tonight.
Both of you looking at it together, you would say it looks like one individual. Like, not like a series of individuals, but like one person. On a 15, it's hard to tell for you if it was like across like a single instant, like one night, or like weeks, like the way the wood has sort of healed isn't the right word, but like worn over. It seems like this was definitely a while ago, but you can't quite tell, you know. It's definitely within this lifetime, 20, 30 years maybe, you guys would work out within 20, 30 years that someone scratched the inside of this case.
But it's like several scratches. It's not just
Yeah.
like, oh, I've clawed at this for like a couple of minutes and then given up.
Yeah, obviously, Uther, you know that when the puzzle is incomplete, the wood seals completely, right? Like, there's no seam or anything. It's not like there's technically a hinge on it. It, like, cracks open in order for you to open it up. So if someone was inside it, like, the scratching is everywhere. It looks like someone was searching for searching for the gap, basically. But there wouldn't have been one, so...
Okay, well, now I have a better idea of why we're looking. If this works, and I see something horrific,
I'm sorry?
you're paying for my therapist.
Is that not covered by the school? I'm sorry.
It depends.
Oh.
I will burn one of my hit die, and I will look at the box.
I would normally say with advantage, but I think in this case it's just a straight insight check here.
That is fair.
Ooh,
Damn it.
ooh. On a 14, you see the echoes of a subverted expectation leading to confusion. Whoever was inside this box expected to be able to leave it with ease, and something went wrong.
Well, I have good news. I have a feeling that someone might have put themselves in here.
But who? And why? And why?
I like the Y is twice. That feels right to me.
Okay, that's a stupid idea, but it might be worth it. How are you at puzzle slides?
I don't know. I'm just getting the feeling that whoever was inside here was panicking because they thought they should be able to leave. Which if you were being put in here, or if you were unconscious and woke up in here, you'd be panicking from the get-go. But that's not the sense I'm getting.
If I show you how to unlock this, could you do that? Would you do that?
Be inside it, or unlock it?
Unlock it.
Sure.
All right, give me a couple minutes, and I'm going to empty out everything else that might have been in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's lock me in, see what happens. I'm curious. I'll bite.
Technically, you guys don't need to completely scramble the puzzle. You can just slide one piece over, right? So from your point of view, Clara, all you have to do is slide one block left and one block right, and it will seal and unseal this, for one of a better term, sarcophagus at present.
Could I test that before he gets in?
Yeah.
Does in fact steal it?
Yeah. You close it up and you test it a couple of times, Clara. It seems to work that way.
Before I actually just lock you in here, what's our failsafe if I can't get you back out? Could you just leave the clone in there?
The clone is site-based, unfortunately, for most of its functions. The get out of we fucked up jail card is shell ability to phase through solid objects, and hoping that works.
You don't know if that works?
I don't know a lot about what's going on right now. I am grasping at straws. We don't have to do it. I was just asking if you would be willing to help. If not, we can wait. I can try other means.
Look, I'm not saying I won't do it. I was just merely inquiring as to how much thought you'd put into it.
Enough thought that it's a terrible idea. I understand that. I've been given this box, and everything I've pulled out of this box has left me with questions. I don't know. I don't understand what is going on. I don't know why this was important enough. I'm confused. I should probably leave it. If you tell me to leave it, I'll leave it.
that this is important to you. So I'll help. I do just want you to know, if I can't unlock it, I am going to abandon you here and immediately run for help.
That's fine. If I can't get out, I am going to stay as calm as possible to preserve as much oxygen as I can.
Seems wise. Your box awaits.
You open up the
Step
case for
aside.
for Uther.
I step aside and close it behind me.
Closing it. Instantly, darkness falls. Obviously, Uther. The space is big, but there's still that lingering sense of claustrophobia with the closing of the case. You can still see the seam of light that is the crack in the wood, and you feel the occasional invigorating piece of air coming through that opening. Clara, would you like to slide the puzzle piece in place?
I will slide the puzzle piece in place.
Clara, from the outside, you watch the seam close, and then Uther is locked inside. Uther, from inside, two things become immediately apparent to you. One, there is most certainly no more air coming into this space. It is very hot very quickly. Two, you can see out. In fact, you can see out in every direction. You can see Clara stood there, her eyes like tracing the disappearing line. You see the slight look of consternation and worry about whether this will go wrong or not. You see your room, you see the wall behind you, you see above you, you see beneath your feet. And when you reach out, you feel the solidness of the wood between you and the outside world. You do seem to be stuck in here, even though you can see quite plainly out of it.
That makes even less sense.
Is there anything you'd like to do?
I guess an investigation check.
Yeah. Give me an investigation check.
No.
10. Running your fingers over the like completely translucent wood, you feel indentations and marks. You feel the scratch marks of people in this situation before you. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
17.
Okay.
You're staying calm. Your breathing is measured. You've still got more time in here. Is there any other check you'd like to make?
Arcana.
Give me an Arcana check. Uther. From inside this space, from the outside, when you first got it, you felt no magic to this thing whatsoever, which in itself is odd, because quite clearly when you do the puzzle, something magical happens, right? It goes from being completely solid to cracked, and it seemingly reheals itself. From inside here, you can feel that there is an enchantment in here that instantly reminds you of something similar to the painting that when it is altered, it changes something in reality, right? Like the painting that you saw that then revealed the basement way down into the hidden chamber underneath that house. What you think you are in is one of maybe a couple of paired instances of this very box. And on a natural 20, there is some degree of like intentionality that you feel in this space, that while you go in this box, when the box opens, it might not be the same box that you leave through. If that makes sense to you, Uther.
And the scratching was because the other box was supposed to be open and it wasn't.
Whether the other box was supposed to be, or whether the box, like whether they went in and went to come back out the same box, or, whatever it was, something went wrong. They were supposed to be able to exit at another box, but couldn't.
So now the question is, where's the other box?
Indeed. Where's the other box? As you're in here, while you can feel this intrinsic link, Uther, you are unable to, mentally locate, there's no hint or clue. Yeah, you just seemingly, you're aware of this connection to one, maybe more than one even, Uther. That's harder to tell. But this is some form of teleportation, transportation, something like that. But in a very... It's like gaming the enchantments of the goddess in order to do something in a very low-key magical way that otherwise is very identifiable, right? Every time someone's used a teleportation spell, it leaves burn into the ground the fact that it has happened. This would leave no trace whatsoever.
Okay.
I will need another Constitution saving throw. You're getting a little lightheaded. You could spend longer in here if you wanted, Uther. Otherwise, you're...
I don't think I could gain much more at this time.
Okay. Knocking on the inside of the wood, I guess, Uther, yeah?
Yeah.
Clara, from your point of view, you hear suddenly...
I will slide the piece back into place.
It cracks, and there's like a hiss as the pressure between the air that was used up inside and not normalizes, and then, Uther, you're able to exit.
Okay, so... I don't know how they've worked the enchantments on here. Fascinating work. The paintings we keep stumbling into that are kind of extra-dimensional in a way?
I'm as familiar as you are.
Okay, similar concept. It feels like it's linked to at least one more box like this. Someone's been gaming the system. It's like a traceless teleport, which explains the scratches. Someone went in expecting to come out the other side, and they got stuck in between.
Sorry, can I just... If it's supposed to be a teleport, why are you still here?
The other side is maybe locked or in an anti-magic zone or damaged. I don't know.
I think on a natural 20, with Clara's question prompting you, Uther, and you running through ideas, there's one more piece missing. There's something that helps guide that box. Like a reference or some way of maybe a picture of one of the other boxes, something that helps. A map, perhaps.
I have an idea. We're not going to act on it now.
Okay.
I don't like this. Who do I talk to? Who can I talk to?
Clara in front of you as you say that. What do you think, Uther?
I hate politicking. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no way my uncle doesn't know what this is.
Is that who you got it from?
Yeah, it was... His story... Fate dice, yeah. His story is that this and some of the things that were in it were in my mother's office. And no one had went in there and messed with anything in the office for a while. So he kind of just thought I should have some of this stuff. And loaded it up. And it was going to take a while to get here, but I called in a favor and I got someone to pick it up and bring it here while they were on a mission. But he knows, he has to know. There's no way he doesn't know. His job is knowing things. So why does he want me to know?
Okay, so without knowing your uncle, I would say it's one of two things. Either he knows, and that means he knows where the other one is, and he's hoping you figure it out and come at the other side, or he knows what it is and what it should do, but can't get it to work, and is hoping that you can find a way to get it to work.
But if it works the way I think it works, he gave me everything I would need to get it to work.
So then you're missing something. Like a command word, maybe.
Could be the horn? Something to do with the horn. The horn... traditionally used for alerting up and down the mountain. Maybe there's a certain tone.
I think Uther's room probably... Is it just chaos, right? Like, with, like, this box open, all the things from the box, like, strewn across, notes on the desk or something.
I would assume, notes on the desk. The map is probably on the bed. Swords tucked into a corner.
Yeah. And the bed askew, like, wooden box split open in the corner, taking up half the space. Just absolute chaos in this space.
This has been productive. Just smiles.
I'm glad we could enjoy this moment of being friends.
I'm just imagining the pure mania. Like, so much manic energy.
Local forest woman discovers mad scientist. Probably do need to do more things as friends that aren't life-threatening or insane bullshit.
Yeah. But, I don't know, that feels like a luxury that maybe is difficult to afford right now. So this was fun, and it was both dangerous and life-threatening.
I didn't suffocate.
You could have done. You didn't, so, you know, I'm still standing here and not having to go and find that therapist.
We should probably look into therapy.
I can't imagine discussing with someone. It's like, I put someone in a box, knowing full well they could suffocate, and they did. Like, and I...
If I was a therapist, I'd be like, well, that's your fault.
That's... There's a lot to unpack here, and really, you're not going to like it.
That person in the box is an idiot. And
you enabled it. Yeah. obviously, Dafer, you want to meet Sigrid out on the field. Was there anyone else for anything that evening, be it Adhira or Caliban?
How late is it by the time I get out of Axel's office?
Yeah, like quite late, to the point where going to bed wouldn't be unreasonable, but also you probably stay up for like another couple of hours normally, Adhira, if that makes sense to you. Like, you could go to bed now, but you normally wouldn't.
I'll get started on what I want to do by going to the Witch's Nook, and I want to get some books on those figures.
I think it's too late for the Nook, where like it would be closed sometime like a couple of hours ago or something, unfortunately, Adhira. The library on the campus would still be open to you, but that might not have what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go on to bed.
Okay.
It's been a long day. It's been quite eventful.
Yeah, fair enough.
Reading in bed for like an hour or so and then hitting the hay sounds nice. A little bit of comfort.
Okay.
From the next room, hitting the wall.
Caliban, anything from you that evening, or just heading to bed to discuss things in the morning with the group?
Yeah, just nothing more beyond that.
Okay. Dafer, Sigrid makes you, like, it's quite late in the evening, all told. You know, later, some people are currently going to bed, but she still meets you out there. Looks at you and says, is this, a talk, or more of a no-think sort of thing?
What the fuck?
Is this more of a talk, or is this I don't want to think, therefore no talk sort of thing?
I think I'm fine with talking. I haven't thought about it specifically. I think.
What are you trying to get your mind off of the assembly?
Yes. It's that combined with everything else. There's just. I feel things have slowly been mounting up on my plate, and it feels like it's getting more and more. I'm not sure how to get it all in a row. I need to get my mind off things.
She waves her hand sort of, not dismissively, but like, as if she's like swatting away an unfortunate thought, or like trying to get rid of a pesky idea, and looks at you and says, I see opportunity. I see I am trusted, and I see that things are difficult. I see that the trust is that I can make a difficult thing easier, and therefore I will do it. And that is all I need to think about.
I think it's about all the specifics too. I mean, it's not just it's about how, like, you have your goal after the academy, right?
Yes.
Some reason why you came here first.
I will
So
look
it becomes a measure of how do you get there, in a sense that, like, as, let's say, stably as possible. With there are no unavoidable risks, but there are unavoidable risks, but you can always optimize your path there, and at the same time try to grasp for everything you try to get along the way. I have people I care for in the city that I'm trying to give the best opportunities I can, and trying to get that in a row with now our sudden need for becoming stronger rather quickly and getting thrown into more dangerous situations rather quickly.
She thinks for a moment and says, my dad He tells me we are like boats on the ocean. There is so much going on that throws us around, and more than we can ever think of deep beneath us. And we can never know. You can never know what might rise up, where the wave might toss you, which direction you will be thrown. But it is not the water that takes a boat where it needs to go. It is the sails. Things will happen. But when opportunity comes to move you, you must open your sails and take hold of it. She shrugs again and says, I understand you have lots of motion, lots of things you want to do, but first you have to get hold of what can move you forward. Then, maybe when water's calmer, you get more.
Focus on what's important first.
I think focus on what you can even begin to do first, and then what's important will be something you can do because you took opportunities when they were there. First that. First, do.
I think I'll need to get this energy out first.
Sure.
I understand.
And she clean clocks you in the side of the head. Just slams you.
Strictly speaking, I have like I have like barbarian reflexes, so I feel
Yeah.
like I would have some kind of
She'd
easily throw it up.
she'd approach you from behind. She knows that you react quickly, so she'd like slam her fist into your shell barrier, right hook from like behind you when you can't see, and get your reflexes off. Your barrier just flares off.
Oh, that is sneaky. Well, allow me to give you a return on that.
The two of you spar, like, somewhat a mix between, like, the two of you have trained in how to fight and how to box and how to move. And then at certain points, the two of you are just like, and what if we just threw as hard a haymaker as possible at each other's shell barrier to see, like, just to not think and fight. I think, eventually the two of you would exhaust the protection that you have, exhaust the strength to move your arms and legs, before she sort of collapses down onto the soft grass that's like ever so slightly wet with that sort of like fade from night to day dew that sort of happens when the sun goes up and down. And she's panting. And she laughs a little bit and says, okay, what's in the basket? What did you bring?
I mean, half an hour was not enough to cook a lot for just sandwiches.
Yeah. She sits up, eats, says, it is too late for any of these things, but I think I needed this too. As much as I talk about not worrying too much, you are right. I am here for my own goals, and I want to make sure that my father has as easy a life going into the end of all of this. When he can't support himself anymore, I want to be there.
You're doing this to keep your family afloat.
She nods and says, as you know, I come from Centrum, all the way in the north. Though I came here when I was very small, I have no real memory of home beyond what my father tells me. But he took a big risk in getting us here. And that was for me. And I want him to know that I am thankful. And I want him to know he will be looked after. And then people from Centrum, ambassadors, come with this news of the automatons and with these deals. And it feels like home is chasing us down. And I have no reason to be suspicious or believe that they are after my father or me, but there's still something makes my heart beat faster, like I am being chased. But I feel better now, having fought, having moved my body.
How did your father react when you told him you wanted to go to the academy?
Mixed bag. Proud, believes in me, but obviously I am trading a long life for an impactful one. I doubt it is what he had in mind when he brought me here, but it is what spoke to me when I looked at this world and thought, what can I do? This spoke to me.
Excellent. Somewhat of a similar story for me. In Dulukop, like the far out settlement, where you're too late to get any kind of saving with if you try to send out a message and you get overrun. Over there, you're basically you have fairly tight knit community, and in one way or another, always take it upon them to be the protectors of the settlement. We have some former EKs over there. They're also getting on in their years. They have maybe 5, at most 10 years left in them.
Well, I mean, maybe you'll be home 6 months earlier. Maybe that's worth the risk of a little less time training to be home again. I would love to come and see your village and make sure it is safe. Not like you need to do it alone, right?
No, I suppose it feels like it sometimes, right? Don't have to. Need to.
But we are put in these teams for a reason. I think it is to get rid of that feeling that we must do these things alone.
You know what? You're right.
It is late. I would love to stay up and just watch the stars, but I have a feeling we will have many a late night coming up this month, so I will head back now.
If you want some, if you have some minor or simple rune stitching enchantments or something that you could see yourself wanting, give me a call. I'll need to train my rune stitching a lot.
She waves her hand and says, "Tomorrow I'll think about this. Tonight, asleep." And she walks away and leaves you there. I think this is a good place to leave off, and then we can pick up the next morning, next week, with Caliban talking about this auction and maybe the release of what this joint first year mission will be. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Oh.
Alright.